What up? This is Rashied Davis, former Chicago Bear wide receiver. Yeah, that guy. And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but they don't know jack.
Hey, young world, what's good? It's your boy Bernard Berrien, aka B Twice. And when I go podcasting, I make sure to rock with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but they really don't know shit. Twice.
What up? It's the podcast where we think we know what we're talking about, but we don't know shit. But our guest today, he knows shit. And I'll bring him in a minute. I went to the store today. I went to Mariano's. And I saw this. I'm like, man, I need a more hearty meal, you know? I want to go for something that will probably tackle my hunger. You see what I did with that tackle? Eddie, we see you, man. We rock with you. We see you making cereal. That's dope. But make some motherfucking tackles. Can you do that? All right. But yeah, so I got that. And crack my Moors. Moors beer. Get you one. Raise your standards. That's what I'm doing. I'm raising my standard. Let me bring in my all-star team. First up, my man who knows every single stat since the 80s for every single team. My man, JB,
aka Steel Trap.
what's up? Steel trap memory, basically. Just a bunch of useless information, but hey,
on Jeopardy.
glad to have. Yeah, you should definitely go on Jeopardy. Shit. R.I.P. Alex Trebek. And the producer that actually wanted to name himself the new host, they dug up some dirt on his ass. So now, yeah.
He should have just kept quiet.
Yeah, well, he wanted to give himself that job. They was like, wait, let's look at his background. And they found some shit. So sorry, man. Well, let me introduce the next part of our all-star team. My man, X Factor, AB.
AKA low standards because I can't raise my standards.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. I promise it is coming.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm gonna introduce the new part of our all-star team. And new to you all. She's not new to us. And let me bring her in. Share Bear. Share Bear. Hi, Share Bear.
I guess we're keeping the Share Bear. I forgot to change it from the last time. Not a Care Bear. It's been one of my nicknames since like 9th grade. I have something special.
Rock with it.
I have something special for you guys. Are you ready? AB?
Whoa, yeah.
Oh!
Hell no! Hell no! She got the beer
Hey, the dagger.
and drinking it.
Ooh, that was my first sip. I like it. One of the. Yo, if I made that face, no, it's actually Moore's.
That is too funny.
There is one store that sells it in Uptown, right next to my go-to carry-out sushi place.
Nice.
Wow.
Pick it up. I've been saving it for like a week for you guys.
So for everybody in the chat, there's this ongoing thing that everybody is going to have Moors except for AB. AB, I'm telling you, it's coming.
But now
man.
I can find it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a barbecue on my balcony. AB, JB, bring your mom. She's our number one fan. And that's it. It's going to be the four of us. We're going to get a lot of Moors. And then we'll send T photos of it.
Damn. That's how y'all gonna do me, man. All right, bet. Okay, no problem. But let's introduce our guest tonight, man, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Fundamentals. He's not new to the podcast, but we're gonna accept him just the same. Our guy, Rashied Davis. I guess there's no AB, so I'll bring him in myself.
I'll say AB lost his power.
AB, drop out for me.
Hey.
Yo,
Seed!
yo,
Dude.
what's going down?
You the man. What's that vodka you got? That man, I'm
Wait, that
still.
looks familiar. That looks familiar.
It's True Legacy.
I'm
There's vodka out there. It's my cousin's company, so I'm a poor
still
little
waiting on.
What's the name of it?
True Legacy.
True Legacy.
True Legacy. Check it out. I promise you, it tastes better than that other stuff that's out there right now. I promise.
Is it sold around Chicago?
Nope, but we're gonna figure that out too. We're gonna get it out here in Chicago.
Perfect.
Where is it now?
It's on the West Coast. He's in LA, so West Coast, Vegas, places like that.
Ooh, Vegas, so I can get in Vegas.
On Facebook.
So you can order it.
Order it. You can order it online. You can go order it through Instagram. I'm sure they have a True Legacy Instagram account. You can hit them up through direct message and they'll shoot you the link.
I'll be in LA Thursday. I can go pick up a bottle.
You probably could, man. What part of LA you going to?
I am going to Venice.
Ah,
Nice.
And then I'm going.
Beach?
Huh?
Are you going to the beach while you're out there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be living. I'm gonna be staying right off the beach. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the beach.
Don't be out there with your shirt off on Muscle Beach trying to lift weights with big dudes,
I ain't got no muscles, so I'm not.
Bro,
You gotta have them to fly them.
pull up with all the fresh out of the penitentiary cats that can do 7,000 push-ups and pull-ups. You know what I mean?
I'm going to that. I'm going to that Bears game, man.
Ah, nice. And if you can't hoop, don't step out there on them courts either.
Oh well, no, I won't be stepping on the court then.
I know Chicago supposed to be king of the hoopers. You know what I mean? This is where everybody's supposed to know how to hoop, but they can hoop in LA too. If you step out on this beach,
they ain't got to worry about me. They ain't got to worry about me because hoop is just not in my blood. It's just not. Oh man. So, what are you up to now?
Man, a lot, man. Been real busy. My son started playing tackle football for the first time recently. And so that's been a little bit exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. Because I'm like, our little man is a peanut. You know, he's not a big kid, but he's fast. He's super fast. But
I wonder where you get that from.
Did he get it from his mom?
Probably. His mom is a Division 1A. His mom is a Division 1A athlete as well.
Oh shit! Okay.
So
What did she do?
she played softball.
Okay.
college. So that's where we met. But he gets it on both sides of the family, so I can't really take credit for everything.
What grade is he playing in, She?
He's playing featherweight. He's
Featherweight?
10. He's 10. Yeah, he's 10. So he had 3 touches and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah,
Running back.
3 catches and 2 touchdowns. Wow,
Yeah.
that is phenomenal.
He plays receiver, but he's little, but he's fast. He can run. If you let him get out there, you ain't gonna catch him. It's gonna be hard
Nice.
to catch him.
Nice.
So,
Talk about
That-
production. Damn.
And your
And then
daughter's a budding
at
equestrian
Carmel.
now.
Shout out to the Corsairs, Carmel Corsairs. So I'm a wide receiver, a volunteer coach over there with one of my good buddies, Jason McKee.
J Mac, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the head coach at Carmel. When he took the job, he asked me to come out and volunteer my time, and so we had a big game this weekend. Well, we went into Lake Forest and smacked on Lake Forest a little bit.
Hey.
Okay.
Lake Forest was supposed to beat us like 66-14, and we beat them 26-14. So
Wow.
Congratulations, my bro.
That's what's up. Okay.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
So kudos to our kids, man. Our running back and our O-line didn't give up a sack. They didn't give up a sack, and we rushed for 169 yards and threw for over 250.
Dang.
3 touchdowns. One of my guys, John Buckley, I say this, and I surely believe it 100%. He the best receiver in Lake County, one of the best in the state. He had 7 for 189 and 3 touchdowns. Should have had 4. So, and they were what? I think they were 16 in the state before we smacked them around a little bit.
Nice.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah,
Sound like you got a real program brewing.
We shall drink to that.
We're trying, man. You know, we go to work. We put our hard hats on. We tell the kids the same thing. You know, we got Leo this weekend, so
That's
Nice.
That's a tough one.
it's gonna be tough. You know, they're gonna come up here to play. They got a lot of athletes, so we don't want to take them lightly.
Right.
You know, so we're gonna have to do our thing. But we did our thing against Lake Forest, and if we execute, I think we got a solid plan. Everything comes down to execution. Once we execute, I think we'll be able to pull out the victory. But it's gonna be tough.
Now, Sheed, where is the school located in case some of the viewers want to come and support?
Mundelein.
Mundelein, okay.
Mundelein, yeah.
Carmel
Up here
High
in
School,
the west
Mundelein.
suburbs. Yeah, Mundelein, Carmel.
Okay. And now you sound just like a true coach. So, in that same vein, how would you coach these Bears going into LA against the Rams with a broken offensive line?
Well, we don't know if it's broken yet because you only know when the bullets really start to fly. So, in that respect, you coach like you coach anything, though. You just try to make sure that as a coach, your job is to give your players the best opportunity to have success, right? You can't play for them. So I can't play for my kids. We can't step out. I would like to put on shoulder pads and a helmet and go out there, but my body will hurt and those kids will probably break me apart. So you have to come up with a good game plan. And so as a coach, your job is to come up with the game plan that puts your players in the best possible position to have success. And whether you're playing with the starters or you're playing with the 5th string backup, they got to play. They get paid. You know what I mean? And if I'm the backup and I'm getting this opportunity, I'm trying to kick the door in. You know, that's what I was taught. Don't just step in there. Don't just be adequate. You know what I mean? Kick the door in like Tom Brady did. Tom Brady got his shot. Brett Favre got his shot. What they do, they kick the door in. They left no doubt. I'm the guy. Russell Wilson, he wasn't supposed to start as a rookie. He came out there, he kicked the door in, right? So that's your job as a backup, is to keep that other guy off the playing field, period.
So let me ask you this. What do you do when the next man up is a 40-year-old man who's been sitting on the couch, though?
You put his ass on the bench.
Yeah, but he's our starting left tackle right now.
Our starting left tackle?
Jason Peters.
I'm
a little concerned. I am.
I'm very concerned.
Here's the deal. He's got a lot of playing experience.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a phenomenal player, and age is different these days. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady, 44. You know what I mean? They would have put Tom Brady out the pasture 20 years ago. They'd have put him out the pasture 10 years ago.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So you don't know what the man has until he steps out onto the field. So if I'm the coach and I know I got the 40-year-old guy who's been sitting on the couch, I'm going to do everything I can to give him all the help he needs so that he can get reacclimated to the game, right? He can get back into it. All the help he needs. Now, if he don't need no help, then I ain't going to give him no help. But I'm going to start out ensuring that he's got as much help as he needs, and I'm not putting him out there on an island to try and figure it out. You know what I mean?
And that's what I wanted to hear from you, because we know that this particular coach does that. So, I mean, you know how
nice
it is.
way to say it, JB. That's a nice way to put it.
That's what I was getting to. You played. You know how important that backside, that left tackle is to a right-handed quarterback, especially when your running game is constantly running to the right or straight up the gut.
Yeah. It's extremely important. Well, you know, the left tackle, that's why he's the highest paid lineman on the field. You know what I mean? He protects that blind side for the quarterback, for most quarterbacks, except for the left-handers, right? So you want to make sure that you got your best guy there, your guy that can pretty much block anybody. That being said, Jason Peters, you know, he's a vet. He knows the game. He understands the task. It's not just on him, though. They got 4 other guys out there.
Absolutely.
You know, I had to count my head. You know what I mean? I'm a little special. Sorry. I've been hitting the head a lot. So they got to make sure that they're all communicating. Like I tell my own kids at the high school, I don't care if we're communicating and the other team hears me telling you exactly who the hell you're supposed to block or who I'm supposed to block. I don't care. I would prefer that we all know what to do and we're all on the same page and make them beat us in that way. I don't care if they know. You know what I mean? I had a coach when I was when I first started playing at JUCO, when I was at West Los Angeles College. His name was Antonio Wilson, fresh out of college, which was amazing that he was so good at coaching us. But he played at Idaho State Vandals. He was a phenomenal player. But we used to line up. Anybody that's played football, if you play wide receiver and defensive back, you know, you get one-on-ones, right? You line up for one-on-ones. I'm the receiver. The DB's got to cover me. DB coach is over there telling them to play press or play off or whatever he's telling them technique-wise. And the receiver coach is standing and he's saying, you know, telling us what route. Typically, he's whispering. Well, this dude didn't whisper nothing, right? Okay. He would stand literally 5 yards away and say, Sheed, you got a slant. And the DB is right standing in front of me, like, Sheed, you got a slant. I would look like, yo, he fucking here. And I promise you, these are his exact words. I can still hear it. He looked at me and he said, I don't give a shit, Sheed. You gotta stop it. Period.
That's true.
That's the truth.
And he wasn't fucking joking. He was not joking. He was dead serious. I went out and won, but I was trained that way. I had to win. I had to win no matter what the circumstances are. So their job is to go out there, communicate, and make sure they're on the same page, especially with a guy coming fresh in, you know, late in the game to the system. You know, you got to make sure he knows what to do. And if he don't know what to do, you better make sure he knows what to do, right? And you got to communicate. And so as long as they're out there communicating, pointing, talking, Mike's there, you know, wherever they're saying, we're sliding this way or we're man that way, whatever their communication is, are they whatever their block signals and all of that are, as long as they are on the same page, they should be fine. But again, if I'm Nagy, personally, I'm doing everything I can to try to protect him as much as I think is necessary at first. Now, if he goes and if he's been showing in practice that he doesn't need my help, he doesn't need us to put a tight end on his side. He doesn't need us to chip with the running back. He doesn't need the receiver to come in motion and then chip on his way out. If he's shown that, then, I'm good.
He was fishing, dog. He was fishing when the Bears called him, man. He wasn't even thinking about football, but now he's starting for us.
Hey, Robbie Gold was doing construction.
Yeah, I was gonna say Robbie Gold was doing construction.
But Robbie was also like 22.
Well,
there you go.
It's a different animal when you're an old man and you're trying to get a job. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you got that right.
And the kicker is a little bit different than the lineman trying to protect that quarterback.
That being said, kickers are probably the most pressure-packed position on the football field. The easiest position on the football field, in my opinion, is punter.
Okay.
Think about it. What does he got to do?
I guess no one really remembers what the punter does.
What does he have to do?
I mean, unless he has a great punt where he knocks them in deep. No.
Yeah, I mean, usually when they're blocked, it's the line.
You ain't got no responsibilities. All you got to do is kick that.
All you got to do is kick the ball
down the middle. That's all you got to do.
Yep. Keith Sperry said Peters got a little left in the tank. Little what? He got a little what left?
Hey, check it out, man.
He got a little Harold chicken left in the tank.
If you don't stop talking about us 40-year-olds, I'm 42, bro.
Man, but I'm saying Jason Peters looks like an upside down toothpaste tube.
He's a whole house, man.
Come on, man. You in shape. It's different.
I'm not in shape, and I've seen a whole lot of upside down toothpaste tube shape guys go out there and get loose. So,
the one thing about Jason Peters that I feel that the reason the Bears called him was he's borderline Hall of Fame. He's definitely got this. And he's a little bit fresher because even though he did retire last year, he was coming off an injury, so he didn't play as much. So he actually is kind of fresh. Plus, he could have told him no.
Yeah.
Fair.
So maybe he's got something inside he wants to prove.
But there's also that somebody offer you millions of dollars to do something. I promise you're gonna do it.
I'll tell you one thing.
That might be number one.
This right here,
bro.
This is a house right here. That is a big man,
bruh.
It is.
Look,
if it moves correctly, though, that will save
me. Trust me.
For a left tackle sheet,
I will put my money on an NFL offensive lineman in a race of up to 20 yards over every average person without a doubt.
Oh,
in a race, and I don't care because they get paid.
Well, yeah, an average person.
Yeah, an average person. I don't care. A high school athlete. I will put my money in on the race, even the smaller dudes, because they get paid. First of all, they're quick as shit, right? That's what they
have
get
to
paid.
be quick. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
they real quick. They were quick as, and they're some of the best offensive linemen, in my opinion, given their sheer size, sheer strength, and their athleticism. They're some of the most impressive athletes on the damn planet for me to be able to move that sheer amount of weight. And that, think about it. Aaron Donald is a straight up animal, right? They have to play backwards and then they have to stop Aaron Donald coming full speed at them, trying to bench press them into the quarterback, right?
Or try. Aaron Donald is not somebody that's easy to stop.
Hey, God bless him.
One-on-one, he's almost unblockable.
Yeah,
one-on-one is almost unblockable.
Yeah.
I say almost because there's obviously some people who have blocked him. But one-on-one, I wouldn't put him on nobody one-on-one with him.
And that's the thing about it, Sheed, is that these aren't average people that they're going up against. They're going up against guys that get paid the same. So, you got a guy like Leonard Floyd who's pretty quick off the edge, Yeah. I don't know if Peters can handle him with that speed. I just don't know.
None of us do. He don't know either. So
right, I don't think he does.
He's gonna find out. We're all gonna find out.
We're gonna learn today.
We're gonna learn.
We're gonna learn real quick.
We're gonna learn real quick. But I would say you got to do what you got to do. They didn't have any other options. What were their other options?
And that's why I said like they had to have thought something of him for that to occur. You know,
They could have just been wishing, to be honest.
Like he talked about Alex Boris, because clearly Boris wasn't ready. I mean, not Alex
Bars.
He wasn't ready. So
they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it if they didn't think they had to do it. They wouldn't have done it. And so they obviously felt like they had to do it, right? Because that's a lot of money and to put out for somebody who you don't think can do the job, right? I'm sure they had a list of people.
Russell Okon?
Russell
Okon?
Yeah, I'm sure they had a list of people.
He's a pretty good one.
I'm sure they had a list of people, list of guys in case this happens. You know, that scout team in the Bears had a list of people saying, okay, these are our short list guys. Can we go after this person? Is he available? They probably reached out to that guy's agent. They probably reached out to that guy's agent and that guy's agent and all of these other different agents to try to figure out who was available. And he was one of the guys on their list.
A process more so than a snap decision.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they probably started in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it didn't just happen here. They have a list. This is a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar industry, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace.
It's not Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. It's a whole.
You're talking about Ted Phillips, who says that they are their football guys.
I don't think Ted Phillips has anything to do with football operations.
He doesn't.
To be honest. So
that's why I say Pace.
But you have scouts too now. These scouts aren't at the same level as Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. They want to be eventually Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, right? So their jobs rely or depend on
the success of those players.
Success of the players that they go out and that they're scouting, right? So it's not just those guys. They have an entire scouting team for on the pro side and on the college side, right? You know, there's two different sides, right? There's college scouting and there's pro scouting.
Correct.
And they have a whole list of guys that they probably went through the list and said, if this happens, this guy, we talked to this agent and he still has interest in playing, right? Like we can probably coax him out, you know? So those guys that are underneath, like the Champ Kellys, who's a friend of mine. I like Champ. Champ's a good dude. You know, Champ is on it because he's in contention to get a GM job.
Oh, nice.
Right? So he's in the contention to get a GM job, and I think, in my opinion, deserves an opportunity. Right?
There are definitely some teams that could use a new GM.
Ours.
Hey.
Mine.
Hey, don't get me in trouble now. Hush up.
That's what we do here. That's what we do here, man. We ask the hard questions.
But really, we don't know shit, so it's okay.
But we don't know shit.
We don't know shit.
Questions.
Hey, do you ever
more than you let on? But that's okay.
Do you ever think about coaching in the NFL?
Initially, I thought that's the only place that I would want to coach, but now I don't. So,
you have a passion for kids, though.
Yeah, I don't have a desire. I don't have a desire, and never have had a desire to move across the country every potentially 3 years. Right, like at the big time college level, as well as even in the lower college levels.
Especially in your lower college levels when you're trying to move up.
Yeah, it's like every 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like coaches are being moved every like 3.5 years. You got to move your family from here or move your family to there, or you got to move and you got to be away from your family. Unless you're coaching at like Alabama, where a position coach can make like $500,000. Right. Like position coaches at places like Alabama make more than NFL position coaches. Yep. So Unless you're coaching at places like that, then you know, and then even if you are coaching there, imagine the level of responsibility there, right? Like coaching in college is a full-time job. Like not
Absolutely.
Well, and not to mention the recruiting.
Yeah, it's year round. It don't stop. You don't sleep. With social media, you got to answer tweets. If you don't answer a tweet, this recruit don't like you. Like these kids are more temperamental than we were. So
Well, now that you add the name, image, and likeness stuff to that recruiting process too, you got a whole nother bag of things to deal with. It's crazy out there for coaches.
Yeah. Look, and the other thing is, I'll say this one more last thing about college coaching, right? At that level of the Alabamas and the Clemsons and the whatnot, the more money that someone pays you, remember this, the more money, I had a coach once say this to me, the more money that someone pays you, the more of your soul they expect you to give up.
Yeah, that's Biggie Small's line right there. That's more money, more problems.
More money, that's a hood thing. No, that ain't Biggie. Biggie just said it on the record. Well, we've been saying that since we were kids. More money, more problems. But yeah, you're right, 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean.
For us non-hood lingo people, you know, maybe we should talk about it like that. Not everybody knows it the way you know it. But no, I apologize, guys. I've been in and out a lot. I had bad internet. We had a really bad storm where I was, so I was just kind of catching in. But Rashied, I kind of heard you talking about your grind a lot, and there was one question in particular I really wanted to ask you. You know, your character speaks for itself on and off the field, man. I mean, honestly. So a lot of people had been really debating about preseason and what it meant. And I thought about someone like you who's went through the grind, who really had to push up, you know, through the league by sheer force, you know. So what exactly did the preseason mean for a guy like you? Because I hear a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't mean anything. We actually had Chris Harris on. He said they don't prep for the preseason. So I'm just curious about what you think about the preseason.
Chris might think a little bit differently about preseason now than he did as a player. So Chris has the benefit of being a big time coach now. Like Chris is potentially going to be a defensive coordinator, right? There's talk to him being a DC right now, right? So Chris probably sees it a little bit differently. But if you had talked to Chris when he was a player, Chris won his starting job in the preseason. Like he started as a rookie because of what he did in the preseason. Coaches got a chance to see that Chris was a trustworthy player. He knew what to do. He understood. And Chris has shown the ability to understand the game at a coach's level as a player. He did that as a rookie. That's why he started as a rookie, because Chris ain't the biggest, he ain't the fastest, he ain't the strongest. You know what I mean? And we had drafted other guys ahead of him, right?
Yeah.
Chris is the smartest, though. Always has been. Chris is very damn intelligent. And so that gave Chris the opportunity. And so for a guy like me, preseason does matter. It doesn't matter for veterans, right? Like it does matter for veterans. It depends on what level you are, right?
Yeah.
For me,
if you're like a Khalil Mack, it's probably not that big a deal.
It's useless for Khalil Mack other than getting him game ready.
Yeah.
Right? It gives him that better time. He gets to save his body. That being said, but for a guy who is like myself, a free agent who was called after a full season in Arena Football League, who I had to come in and I had to really I had to show that I could play, right? And I couldn't do that without the preseason, like in a game time situation. And the other thing that preseason does for a majority of the players, right? There's only 11 starters on each side, so 22 guys got jobs. The rest of us are fighting for jobs at some point, right? There are some you can say 32 because maybe you got 10 guys that are locked in as special team starters and whatnot. You got 32 of 53 that may be locked in. Those other guys, plus all of those guys behind, Like they need that. They need preseason because it is not just for that team that you're on. It wasn't just for the Bears. It gave me film. The only way, unlike people that are working regular jobs, we don't get to write our resume. Our resume is film.
Right.
Like it's what you do on the field. So coaches would say, yo, I don't cut you, you cut yourself. Right? What you put on tape is what I believe. That's who you are. You can say whatever you want. Your words don't matter to me. What you put on tape, that's what matters. And that's every day in practice, and that's also in the preseason.
So that speaks volumes as to how important preseason was to a guy like Rodney Adams.
Yeah, that boy went out there and killed it.
He went
So
off.
now, even if the Bears were to cut him, you know what I mean? He got every other team in the league on notice. Like, I'm snatching balls off cats' heads and I'm taking them to the house. What y'all want to do?
Yeah.
Like that lets everybody know, you know, like I got a young cat who's a friend of the family. I played against his dad in arena football. His name is Andre Chachere. He played with he's out of San Jose State, right? And he was with the Colts. And he made their 53-man roster initially, but then they cut him a couple days later because of injuries, right? So he was picked up right away after that, though, because he played well in the preseason.
Right.
And he's
And
been
like you said, that's your resume for 31 other teams, not just the team that you actually are on at that current time.
100%. And NFL coaches actually speak to that. They say, you're not just playing for us. You're playing for an opportunity to play somewhere. Rodney Harrison was cut famously like 5 or 6 damn times.
I remember that before he latched on with the Chargers.
Yeah. Not Rodney Harrison. I'm sorry.
James
Harrison.
Big boy.
James Harrison, a D linebacker.
Linebacker for the Steelers.
In Pittsburgh, really?
He was cut like 5 times before he actually made a team because he was
Wow.
I did not know that.
Now he's a Hall of Famer, but he was cut so many times before he actually made a team.
He had to get his
probably still go out there and probably still lay some people.
Bro, all you gotta do is put on IT. That man is pushing like 1,000 pounds on a damn sled. Like,
man, he got a commercial where he killed somebody for envelope.
That dude there, bro. He is an animal.
So,
hey, what was that question? Put that
we had a question
up
in the chat from my buddy Keith. He wants to know if you like playing DB or wide receiver better. When you switched, was it easier to read a defense?
Now, see, that's a good question because a lot of people don't know that you know something about that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
and he actually did. Sheed has a couple tackles in the NFL.
I have a lot of tackles in the NFL
with the Lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
especially with the Lions.
Okay, no Lions talk. No Lions. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You're a Lions fan, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
I forgot about it. Yes, so. This is a funny story. This is a real story, right?
Because I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to tell you the story, right? So, most Bears, fans that really love the Bears know that I came in as number 21. I played corner, corner, right? Well, when I got to Detroit, one of the things that kept me around so long was my versatility. Like I could do just about anything that I needed to do, right? And I filled lots of different roles. So the fact that I could do so much made it hard for teams to, even the Bears to say, hey, we can't pay you. We're going to pay somebody else. Well, shit, who you going to replace me with? How many guys you got can do all of this shit? All right. So when I got to Detroit, we had some injuries. It was against the Packers, right?
Thanksgiving.
It was against the Packers, right? And I was coming off injuries myself. I was coming in off injury where I had missed the first 8 games of my NFL career. I had a stress fracture in my foot, and then I pulled my hamstring, and it was just terrible. But I came in. All of our DBs went down in that game, and they were like, and I was like, Coach, I'll do it. You know what I mean? They're like, "She get in there." But so they called the defense, and I had played around in practice a little bit. And Titus Young was tearing my ass up. He was hard as hell to cover. I'm gonna be honest with you. Titus was one of the quickest people I've ever met in my life. I thought I was quick. Titus made me look slow. Titus is quick as hell. So anyway, we get in that game. Everybody goes down. I go in to play, and the very first damn play I go in, we call the defense, and it's pretty much man coverage, right? I go on and play man, and I think we were playing man, and we break the huddle, and I'm heading out left to get lined up, and I see in the slot is Greg Jennings, and I'm like, yo, I look back at I promise you, I look back at the teams. I'm like, yo. And they all fucking ignored me and kept walking the other way. And I was like, yo, y'all gonna put me on Greg? Like,
For your first play.
I'm wearing number 82. Like, once he sees 82, they're gonna, Aaron Rodgers, I promise you, look right in my eyes. Right? Like, I looked him in the eyes like, yo. I'm looking at Aaron like, shit, I gotta fake it. Like, I gotta look away. I can't look at him because if I look at him in the eyes, he gonna throw the ball at me.
He's gonna sense the fear.
Yo, luckily Greg runs like an out, and I'm a pretty good athlete, so I'm able to cover the out. But then Aaron starts to scramble, and as he's scrambling, Greg beats me. But he looks the other way. And so I was terrified at that moment. Like, holy shit. I'm about to get embarrassed on national TV on Thanksgiving because I'm covering Greg goddamn Jennings. I ain't covered, and mind you, up to that point, I hadn't covered anybody in the NFL other than playing like corner on the punt return team.
Right, special teams, right.
In 2005. I ain't backpedaled a day since 2005. Right? So I was terrified. But the rest of the game, they played a couple, zone coverages and whatnot, and I went in and made a few tackles. But to answer his question, I love playing corner. I was a better receiver than I was a corner. More so because I just had more experience doing that. I only played corner 4 games in college, like the last 4 games of my college career, because long story anyway, I played corner 4 games in the last 4 games. In those 4 games, I had actually 3.5 games. I had 26 tackles and 2 interceptions in those
Jesus
3.5 games.
Nice.
And,
3.5 games, 26 tackles,
and 2 picks. And I dropped.
Why did they keep throwing to your area?
Modesty.
I ain't no modesty. I was a monster.
Why did they keep throwing to you?
As a matter of fact, one of the defensive coaches said, man, if you had been playing corner all year, you would have got drafted. I was like, fuck you. I'm being honest, because the year before my junior year, I had 40 catches, 785 yards, and 6 touchdowns at receiver. I led the team in receiving. I averaged 19.6 yards a catch.
Oh, wow.
My junior year.
Damn.
We got new coaches, and then all of a sudden I can't play receiver no more. So that's why I ended up at corner. And then, so I didn't know, even when I got here, when I played arena football, I played corner. But it's mostly man. It's not a lot of zone. And it's a different type of man. It's a different type of zone in arena football than on the big field, what we would call the big field, which is pro football, NFL football. So I didn't know, I was so behind intellectually at corner that I played thinking all the time. Like, I was always thinking, always processing, and you can't play football that way. Football is a largely reactionary sport. You gotta go, you gotta explode, you gotta move, you gotta know what you're doing and go. And I would be thinking so much like, okay, they motioned over here. So being on offense didn't help me on defense.
Okay.
Because it was just different. Matter of fact, it was so confusing to me sitting in meetings initially, because when I sat in meetings, I would be looking at the board, trying to flip the board in my head. Like, why are y'all writing backwards? Like, why are y'all drawing the play backwards?
You know, if you weren't dyslexic, you'd have been all right.
Man, bro. But like, so when you draw on the board from the offensive perspective, you put the offense on the bottom, defense
Right.
on the top. Right. Well, from a defensive perspective, it's the same thing. Defense is on bottom, offense is on top. My head, I was fighting like, what the fuck? Why are y'all writing backwards? Right? Like,
this is a weird ass play.
Yeah, it didn't dawn on me like, no, that's just how they see the game.
Yeah,
this is how they play the game, and so it was so. It took a long time for me to process that. Like, I may be slow or whatever. I don't know. It just didn't make no sense to me. And then I finally got it. Once it dawned on me, then it was they were talking about read the 3-step, transition to the 5-step, and then once he gets beyond this, it's man coverage and all of this other shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I thought cover 3 was that. They're like jam and hinge. I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
And then they're like, get him out the room. Just put him back in the offensive room.
But the thing that happened, really, to be honest with you, I'm very athletic, right? Those of you that play flag football with me, I'm crazy.
We've seen this.
Yes, yes, we have.
You get to the NFL if you're not. I mean,
so what really helped me was the fact that if you didn't talk to me and let me play, I could play. So I could play man coverage. Right? Like if you didn't talk to me and just let me play and not force me to really, really think. So the very first day, they didn't do that. They just threw me out there. When I promise y'all, I was fresh off the plane after playing my last game in arena football in the playoffs a week before. I get off the plane. My hair is all crazy and wild. The very next day we go to practice. They just toss me out there and they say, cover him. And now I was covering the 2s, and it was just basic, but it was just one-on-one coverage. We want you at 8 yards. We want you to play outside in. This is what you got. And I almost picked a hitch on the first play. Now again, so like I didn't have to think. They just like read the 3-step. You read the quarterback.
More instinctive about things.
And just bounce. And so right. I played the game largely on instinct on both sides of the ball, not just on defense. So I was so behind intellectually on the defensive side that I sucked. You know what I mean? Like I could.
That's a nice way to put it.
To put it mildly.
I sucked. Like I'm being dead honest. It wasn't that I didn't think I could play corner at the NFL level. I knew I could play corner at the NFL level. I just didn't have the time to play. I was 27 as a rookie, right? Like I was the oldest rookie in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. And so because of that, it was just, I didn't have time to develop. They weren't going to give me time to develop. Like luckily, I promise I thought I was getting cut every week, like my rookie year. You know, luckily I could return kicks and I was a solid gunner and I was a good special teams player. And I was willing to do anything. So that helped. But when they came the next year, like it actually wasn't the next year. It was a Carolina game. Again, the playoff game, 2005. We playing Carolina in the playoffs. And I had to be Steve Smith because we're about the same size, right? That's how we do scout team. It's like they typecast you. You that guy, you Michael Vick, you're this, you're that kind of deal. And so one of the reasons that I was moved over to the offensive side of the ball was because Mike Brown, when I would do scout team, I would ball in scout team. Now, I really wasn't going hard initially in scout team because I didn't want to be a scout team player. I don't want to be a practice squad guy. I was an old vet. I had won 2 championships in arena football before I got to the league. So I knew I was more of a veteran player than I was a rookie. I understood big time. It wasn't the same level, obviously, but it was still on television, and it was serious professional football. It was a job. So I knew and understood that. So I went out and practiced, and I practiced hard, and I gave good looks on scout team, but I wasn't trying to win like every play.
But why not though? Because you think if you did better on the scout team, they'd be taking more notice of you there and be like, oh, hey, we need to get him rolling, right?
I did when I needed to. But in certain situations, like you don't want to be the guy that's out there going too hard in scout
PE
teams.
superstar. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a practice squad. Yeah, you don't want to be a practice
I know
squad
what you mean.
superstar. You want to go out there, you want to give the team a good look, you want to run good routes, you want to run, and you want to catch the ball when it's thrown to you. I did that. But then we got to the playoffs, being as old as I was and having played big time bowl games and won championships in arena football. I knew how big it was to go to the playoffs. I knew everything was raised a level. Like
the moment wasn't too big for you.
It wasn't too big, so I knew it went up another level. Right. And so I was only expected to, that was when they officially moved me over to offense, was that week. Or it wasn't official, but it was just, you're going to play offense this week. You're going to be Steve Smith. And then we may throw you a couple passes here and there, whatnot, in the game, time situation. These are the simple plays you need to know. That's all you need to know, right? So little gadget plays. But in practice, I actually went to, the homies like Mike B and them and said, look, I'm going to really play this week because I know what you're going to get from Steve Smith. I played against Steve Smith in JUCO. Mm-hmm. Like, Steve was a monster, right? So I knew what he was going to give you, and I knew how Steve Smith played. So I really, really gave and I ripped it that week in practice. And so he came out in the game, and Steve is, I say we're the same size and whatnot, and I say we're about the same athleticism, but Steve is a different animal. Steve is he actually is what humbled me the most in the NFL because I knew we were about the same size and whatnot, and I just saw him do things that I was like, shit, I can't do that. Right? Like, it was a humbling thing. Like, I can't, like, shit, he's different. Like, that's when it was really like God told me, like, showed me there. Yeah, he just makes some of us different, right? Mm-hmm. Steve is just different, man. He's an animal. But anyway, I did that in practice. And then after we lost in the playoffs that year, which sucked, we had our exit meetings. I think it was like Monday or something like that, or day after that. And that's when Lovey called me to his office. And I'm like, holy shit, what's going on happening here? And he looked at me and was like, we're moving you next year, you're going to be on the off, you're going to play receiver. We're moving you to offense. And I looked at him and I said, that's it? All right. And I got up and walked out.
Right. No takebacks.
No takebacks.
Right. Hurry up. Get out of here.
All right. That's it. Thank you. Because I knew who
he didn't bring your playbook.
Man, I knew who we had on the team. And no disrespect to any of them, but I knew they weren't going to outplay me. Like, I know what I'm capable of. And I just knew they weren't going to outplay me, period. I was already the number 3 receiver in my head. I was the slot guy in my head. So when we started in OTAs and they put me out there, I was the guy from that day forward in my head. I don't know what the hell they were thinking and what their thought process behind it was, but I was like, yeah.
Because we remember, a lot of times you were the first down guy. Like, well, we know Sheed about to get the ball. They need a first down.
That's how it was supposed to be in the first place. God damn it!
I knew personally. Again, I had played at a high level of my Arena League team was the best Arena League team in arena football. In my opinion, I don't give a shit what nobody says. While I was playing, and then I played with a lot of professional level athletes, like NFL receivers. James Hunden played for Cincinnati. James Rowe played for Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Jerry Reese was with several teams. You know what I mean? Like
SaberCats, right?
SaberCat. We were serious. Yeah, now, Barry Wagner and all of these guys, they were professional, real-time professionals, and they were ballers. Yeah. They could all fucking play. I played with Aaron. Damn it, what was Aaron? Aaron's, I forget his last name, but he played 6 years with the Colts. You know what I mean? So I played with professional level, NFL level players, and I was playing over them in certain situations or alongside them. And I learned a lot from them. So I knew that I could play in the NFL. I just needed the opportunity. And when they gave me the opportunity, like I said, like I was taught, I'm going to kick the door in. I don't give a damn what y'all do. I don't care what you think you brought and you drafted. like one of my coaches, what is Sean Jefferson, who was a coach in Detroit when he was a receiver coach in Detroit when I was in Detroit, and he was like speaking about himself because he was a 13-year NFL veteran, but he was drafted in like, you know, back when they had like 17 rounds or however many, he was like drafting like 13th, 14th round, wasn't supposed to make the team, and he played 13 years. And his mindset was like similar to mine. He was like, look, anybody that wanted to take my job, I tell him what to do, because that guy, and he said he would go tell the coaches, like, if you want that guy to take my job, he got to be willing to die a little bit. And that's how I felt. He got to be willing to die a little bit if he gonna take my job. Like, I'm gonna do what it takes to win, period. I don't give a damn. So I want to feed my family. So if I got to run down on kickoffs, I'm gonna run down on kickoffs. If I got to return kicks, I'm gonna return kicks. Matter of fact, I hated punt returning. It was the worst job for me. It's the worst job in the history of professional football. I hate punt returning in Chicago. But they said, "Can you do it?" I said, "Yep." And I did it with a broken hand, and I had never really done it before.
Jeez.
And you're a moving target on top of it. It's just,
yeah, I hated
all
that.
these guys gunning for you, man.
Yeah.
So you didn't start playing until you were a sophomore, right?
I played tackle
high
one
school.
year in high school. I didn't play any tackle before that, and I didn't play any tackle after that until college.
I heard that you didn't even start until you went to college, which is something else that's pretty amazing, that you went that far, you know, without even starting in high school. That's impressive to me, man. Like, all that shows is, you know, like you said, nobody's outworking you. Nobody's trying to get to that level that you're getting to.
I think part of it helped me, right? Like, not playing, I didn't have any of these preconceived ideas of who I thought I was. Like, a lot of guys, especially at the JUCO level, are guys that didn't have the grades to make it somewhere, or at least in LA. In LA, there's a lot of guys who are tremendously talented but didn't have the grades, so they are their partial, you know, qualifiers or whatnot. I was the only guy that walked in off the street, but a lot of my guys could play, right? They were playing since they were in Pop Warner, and they had all of these ideas of who they were. Some of them had poor attitudes, and that changed everything for them. Their just attitudes were shitty.
Yeah.
And then they didn't work as hard as they needed to work. And so I was able to catch up and surpass a lot of people, because for me, I didn't have that. All I knew was I wanted to play football. Football was easier than my everyday life. My everyday life was hard, right? Like, football was my oasis. So when I stepped out onto the football field, that was my free time. That was my freedom. And it's still that to this day. It's therapeutic for me, right? Coaching these kids is therapeutic for me. My body and my neck hurt and all of that other stuff, being out on that turf, playing flag football hurts, whatnot. I feel it for the next 3 or 4 days because everything, you know, whatnot. But for me, it's therapeutic. So some people can sit down and read a book. Some people go for a long run. Some people will do whatever they do. For me, I thank God every time I'm able to step on the field. Like, I take a knee and I, you know, grab a piece of grass. I smell it. You know, I sign of the cross, even though I'm not Catholic. It's just some habit I just picked up. Right? It can't hurt, right, to thank God.
No,
I'm like,
absolutely.
hurt. But
You're a true gladiator, Sheed. Like, that's real talk.
Yeah, that is.
So I was gonna bring up the flag football thing, because we just talked about JB being a freak of nature. He's 40 plus out there every Sunday playing with these 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, and here you are doing the same shit. I mean, you're putting your body through a lot, but you got to be in shape. You said you weren't in shape earlier, but you got to be in shape for that.
Bro, I'm a different look. I'm just a different animal, man. I'm and not bragging on myself or whatnot. I'm not in shape. When I say I'm not in my shape, I'm not in shape. I'm not in shape for me. I'm out there.
I hear that. Yeah.
Like, NFL shape is a lot different than,
you know, if I actually trained and played with y'all, it it would be Curtis.
It wouldn't be fair.
To be honest with
fun.
you, it would be.
I mean, hold on. In fairness, it's not fair now.
It's not fair. It's just
I can
unfair.
imagine. Hey, bro. Hey, see, this off season, if you get in shape, take me with you.
Bro, if I
Take us
started
all
training-
with you, 'cause,
if I started training
Lord.
to be ready for you guys, some of you guys didn't see me when I first started in the CBL. When I first started in the CBL, nobody knew that I was out there. I was on a team called Watch the Throne. I met these guys on the street one day and was like, they were like, I play flag football. I said, I've been wanting to play flag football since I retired. Let's go. And I was taking punts to the house. Like I was doing everything. As a matter of fact, I think I almost got in a fight because one dude was playing. He played, I don't know the dude's name, and I was in the south side of Chicago. I didn't know nobody. I'm out there talking shit. Like, I'm going to get shot. Anyway, it was so bad that I had to go apologize to the dude after because he was a semi-pro player.
Oh, yeah. Some of those guys think they're everything.
He didn't know who I was. Like
I said, he couldn't have.
I didn't come out there saying I'm Rashied Davis and I'm this and I'm that. And y'all know me. I don't say nothing until you start talking to me.
Right.
You start talking to me, I'm a different animal. Right.
Yeah,
like,
you lunch
after that, right?
Bruh. So he started talking shit and he caught a pass on me and he was like, I'll do this. Yada, yada, yada. And I said, Oh, you do this? You do this. You won't catch another motherfucking pass today. And he ain't catch another pass.
Sure did.
He ain't catch another fucking pass. And
So Sheed, you have another big game this weekend. Do you know what it is?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you didn't check fantasy?
Oh, I was playing you.
Oh, guess who you play this week?
What kind of fantasy are y'all doing this weekend? Woo, damn.
Yeah, you in trouble.
You're in trouble. No. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone about last season and your team?
Yeah, last season we won the championship.
Right, but how did you go about building that team?
Yeah, I heard about this.
It was an auto draft. I don't care.
But you still won.
I'm not embarrassed. She should be embarrassed.
Some good shit, yeah.
She should be
I
embarrassed.
said real men do not auto draft.
Check this
Yeah,
out.
but real men win.
It was an auto draft. I picked up James Robinson off of waivers.
Good pickup.
That's a good
Yes,
one.
like so the team that I started with wasn't the team that I ended with. Now the draft, they did give me that I got Travis Kelce and I got another, I don't know what that is. That's
Terrence
Wasn't me.
That
was me. That was me.
We all know who it was.
Yeah. Anyway, so I ended up with Travis Kelce. I ended up with some really good play. Like I had pieces, but then I drafted some guys and we smoked the league. I don't say I, because Nadia is also on, the co-ed.
It's a partner league, yeah.
And we beat the league because I know how to pick people up off of waiver wires. And I think I got a couple now off the waiver that might help us win this year.
That's how you win championships.
We'll see. But here's the thing, though. So I've been giving him shit about this auto draft since whenever the league finished. I think I was the only one that even noticed. I was like, this motherfucker's auto drafting.
Yeah, but you didn't
here's
tell
the
us
thing,
you
though.
won, though.
Yeah, I know, because
that part out.
No, because here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you don't win this year, if you don't win, I'm gonna never let you win that down. Every year, I'm like, you need to auto draft.
I do not care. Here's the deal. I do not care.
It doesn't matter.
I won off of auto draft. Auto drafted and won. That's where she should be embarrassed. Not me. I'm not the one to be embarrassed.
Look, I got second place 3 years in a row with CJ and James and I acting like the Buffalo Bills.
Well, Steve, I'm gonna ask you this real quick. Off of the auto draft, clearly there wasn't too many people that you wouldn't have drafted yourself, right?
You must have had a top.
Me?
Yeah.
Top pick.
I don't know what
I don't remember where you were.
I don't want to know what position they drafted in.
No, I'm saying when you saw what your team was, you was like, "Oh, I can rock with this."
I had some hella pieces. Now
Oh.
we had both. We had two. I had Andrews and Kelsey, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wise, and we rocked with both of them. For one was in the what do you call the flex position?
The flex, and one was the tight end. Yeah.
Was the starting tight end, and we rocked that way for a long time. But then we had Alvin Kamara. So they drafted the auto draft.
Oh, yeah. So you must have had that, like second or third pick.
So they drafted Alvin Kamara and they drafted Travis Kelce. And the Travis Kelce was the pick, though.
Kamara did a lot of good things too.
Yeah, and it's a full point PPR league as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
who was your quarterback?
Because, and I think a lot of people don't understand this in PPR leagues, in my opinion. The tight end position, if you can get a Kelce, like there ain't no other tight end in the fucking league that's going to be able to keep up with Kelce. So you already win that position every week. Mm-hmm. That position is won. You ain't got to worry about that position. And when you got a guy like Travis Kelce in that position who could put up 20 points,
right?
Shit, he putting up starting receiver numbers. He putting up Devontae Adams numbers, right? So you got that. Then I had Alvin Kamara. Then I picked up James Robinson, who I rocked in as the second RB because the other running backs were trash that we had. And then we had to find a quarterback.
I was gonna say, who was your drafted QB?
Fucking Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was dope at the beginning. He was dope at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, it was terrible. So we ended up having to stream QBs. So we stream QBs and we stream defenses at the end of the year. So I know what the fuck I'm doing. I just pretend I don't.
It starts this week, you guys. Week 1.
Yeah.
Heads ahead.
We'll get to that pretty quick because there's some questions we got to ask Sheed.
You got a solid team, though. Tell them your team. You're over here talking smack. You got a decent team.
I do, actually. I did a completely different. I focused on wide receivers this year. I took Hawkinson as my tight end because the Lions are only going to throw to him. But I was actually
after that. She told us a couple weeks ago she was going to do that.
But you know what? I actually was doing 2 drafts at the exact same time. So
don't fuck around.
That's a little stressful.
Actually, I'm
I think we have 2 of the best. I think we have 2 of the best teams.
He said I'm auto drafting right now.
Right now in another league. Shoot, I forgot about that.
He's auto drafting right now. Wow. Throw up those questions that you have, AB.
Yeah. So well, do you want to get to the Sox tickets first?
Well, I actually wanted to ask. I was gonna ask Sheed about the wide receivers that the Bears have now. Aside from A-Rob, that's 1, and then Mooney, who's 2.
Slot.
What is the shit show? That's the rest.
You don't know if they're a shit show. Leave them boys alone, man.
So I'm waiting for you to clean it up.
Marquise is a good player.
Besides Marquise, yeah. Besides Marquise.
Perryman and Adams.
Marquise is good. Adams isn't even on the roster.
Adams is on the practice
squad. He's on the practice squad.
Perryman is the guy.
Adams is
There's very high potential for him.
There's potential for him, but he's sneaky good. I'm surprised somebody let him get on practice squad, to be honest with you. He ain't gonna be there forever.
No,
I don't think so either. Someone must snatch him up.
If they don't bring him up, somebody else is.
Yeah, someone gonna get.
If Perryman hadn't got released, Adams would be on the full 53, in my opinion.
But
you said
what do you think of Perryman?
Rashad Perryman, yeah.
Didn't they pick him up?
Yeah, because we released him
up off of waivers.
The Lions cut him because they obviously don't like any talent on their team.
Hey, they got rid of Marvin Jones Jr. I have no idea what the hell that was.
They
about.
even cut all their kickers.
We did. I was going to say we cut every kicker. We were like, meh, we're fine.
I don't know, man.
He's had a lot of injury problems, but he had a heater when he was with think it was the Ravens last, and then
You said
Yeah,
got a big
Ravens.
contract.
He played
He got
very
a big
well.
contract with
Correct.
the Jets. Like he had like a 5-game stretch where he had like 5 touchdowns and like 25 catches, like 500 yards. Like he just went crazy.
But
But he
In
just can't stay
Baltimore.
healthy.
think about it though. Like people get cut for a reason.
Dude,
I don't
6'2"
got
and
nothing-
runs a 4.3. That's
That
why
don't
he's
matter.
on the team.
See,
I played
did you
with
talk
guys
about
that run
attitude?
4.3s. If 4.3, AB don't run a 4.3.
4.3 matters only to Matt Nagy because Matt Nagy
Rashied,
wants.
didn't you talk about attitude?
Yeah.
Attitude is one thing. I don't know him, so I don't want to down talk him either. Right?
And I'm not going to down talk him either. But to me, part of it is production, attitude,
I will.
and then
injury.
injury.
Look,
You've been on
40
16s.
matters. I'm not going to say 40 doesn't matter, right? But 40 doesn't matter as much as being a nuanced receiver, right? Like I had this conversation. One of my good friends is my former offensive coordinator with the San Jose SaberCats. He's an offensive consultant coach with the San Jose State Spartans, my alma mater, right? His name is Terry Malley, one of the best coaches I've ever had, actually changed my life, right? He's a good friend, right? So they played USC. They were in the game. Now that score of the USC San Jose State game, the ending score doesn't reflect how close that game was until the end. They were down 13. It was only 13-0 or 13-7, like going into the fourth quarter or something like that, third or fourth quarter. Like it was a close game. Ended up 30-something or whatever. But one of the things that he talked about, we had a conversation about, was he has their receiving core, that who he likes, he thinks they're good, but they couldn't create any separation. Every time their quarterback threw the ball, like there was no separation. You got fast cats, right? So, and I was trying to actually pub up our receiver here because he has no scholarship offers. His name is John Buckley. You guys need to huddle him, check him out. He's a monster. John Buckley deserves a scholarship somewhere. Somebody is going to miss out on a phenomenal
Buckley
player.
from
Carmel Catholic.
He's a senior.
He's a senior. And
Have you played any HBCUs?
you need to
he
get
could. He's white, but he could go to the HBCU. I don't think he can go wherever somebody
matter
gets
as long
some
as-
money.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, they take
Dog
away
is a
athletes.
dog.
Send it to
Yeah,
NC
help him
North
out.
Carolina Central University. They actually put a couple of cats in the league. They're they're on the come up.
He's a phenomenal player, right? Like he can do everything. So I was talking to him about that, and one of the things that he said about San Jose State, because it's a California school, right? Like San Jose State doesn't have a whole lot of money. Schools like that don't have a whole lot of money. They don't have money to send scouts all over the country. So their budget doesn't say they can't come get a receiver. They'll get an offensive lineman or something like that from the Midwest, but they're not going to come get a receiver because they figure, and this is true, there's a lot of people in their receivers are like a dime a dozen. You can find a receiver anywhere in California.
My buddy
Bad
Keith
guy.
right there got the right notion. Our
Yeah,
fighting
so
Illini needs some
right.
people
This guy
back.
can play. I promise you, he can play. He can play Division I football because I played Division I football. I played with some guys who can't hold a candle to this cat.
Oh, wow.
And so he made the statement. Terry makes the statement that we can't go get a guy we can't go get a receiver from the Midwest unless he runs like you. You know what I mean? Like runs like me. Now I can run. I'm fast. And I was crazy fast and crazy quick when I was a kid coming out of JUCO. And I made a statement to him that, yeah, that's true, right? I understand that. I totally get it. That being said, this kid catches better than I ever did. And he catches now better than I ever did as a professional anytime. Like he can catch the ball, period. And
So is he like a Michael Thomas type?
Yeah, he knows how to create separation.
I mean,
Not running.
And
and
that's
that's
the
like a
thing
4.5 or 4.6. He's close to you at a 4.5, right?
I'm a 4.44 guy, so don't.
According to Google.
Thank you very much.
I don't give a damn what Google
Hey,
says.
Google be lying, man.
I wanted to get a rise out of him. I got it.
Whatever you want from Google, Google kiss my ass.
Hey, see, Google be lying.
I knew
I
I'd
am
get him
a
at one.
444 guy, period. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Throwing him off.
You know, I'm going to read to you what he said because I think it's very important that people understand this, right? Hold on. He said, I was disappointed. He said, I don't want to tell you what he said about his guy. So hold on. Boom, boom, boom.
While you find
he
that,
said it'll be hard to take a wide receiver out of state unless he runs like you. You know, I think they're more willing to take O linemen out of state and whatnot. And then he said he was upset that his guys were running more hip to hip. You know what I mean? And we talked about separation and whatnot. And I said no separation and QB. And even when they did get separation, the quarterback missed some throws. But then I said, but as you know, it's not always speed that creates separation. He said, I agree. Technique is key, and we need to get better. And I responded with him that technique, in and out of breaks, understanding leverage and concepts. So any receivers, these are the things that you need to understand and know how to do. And this is what you need to know how to do. I don't give a damn what your speed is. Technique, in and out of breaks, understanding leverage and concepts on the route combos, hand fighting or not hand fighting, all of those things, quickness and not speed, tempo and body language. Like all of those things are more important than your speed, right? Like you can't, flat out speed matters. It does matter to be fast. But if all you can do is run fast, like you can't run routes.
Then all you're doing is running a go route every single time.
All you can do is run a go route. Well, everybody
Right.
what's the completion percentage on a go route? Like it's very low.
It's probably the lowest one,
40.
right?
That's
Well,
what
it depends on the team, but it's in the 30.
It's probably the lowest route, right?
it's the lowest
Absolutely.
percentage play.
Mhm.
It's a go route is a very low percentage play. All of the short and the intermediate routes, all of those things are more high percentage. Slants, hitches, comebacks, digs, things out routes, things like that, drags across the field, understanding spacing, right? Like a lot of guys, we look at film now. I don't know. The internet, Instagram, all of these things are great and terrible at the same time when it comes to what's going on with football and the receiver and the defensive back position. Like it frustrates me to no end to watch a defensive back stand in front of somebody and press and not touch them or not even think about touching them, right? Like they allow guys to get off press way too easily. Rod Woodson, Al Harris would have never let some of these guys get away with some of the route, like the slide techniques and all of this stuff that you see on Instagram. Yeah, some of that shit, yeah, it makes sense. It works.
That's physical, yeah.
But a really good DB like Jalen Ramsey, gotta be kidding me. You try some of that shit on Ramsey, he gonna choke slam you, right? If you had tried that on Revis gonna choke slam you. All he gonna do is slide down in front of you. I ain't got nothing to do with. I ain't got nothing against new techniques and trying new things, and some of it does work, and some of it is great. But there's too much dancing going on at the line of scrimmage, and a lot of it is unnecessary, right? And it doesn't help. And so, a lot of people talk about what they, the big thing this week is that Jalen Ramsey clip of Darnell Mooney beating Jalen Ramsey on the phenomenal route. I don't want to take nothing away from Darnell Mooney, whatnot. The ball was overthrown. He's frustrated, but part of that lies on Mooney's shoulders, right? Now, could Trubisky have thrown a better ball? Yes, but here's the deal. I got to see the whole play. First of all, you got to see the whole play and how it expresses itself. Did he have pressure in his face? Did he throw it soon because he had to release the ball at that time, or could he have waited? Right now, did he have the time to release the ball the way that Darnell Mooney wanted? And Darnell Mooney his release was nice. The route was amazing. It looks phenomenal. But offensive football is about timing and spacing. Timing and spacing. So if you stop all of your forward momentum to make a move to make the DB jump in here, then you got to restart that forward.
You got to turn back up. Yeah.
Like there's only a few people that I know that I ever played with that are able to do that, to go from dead stop to full speed in 1 or 2 steps. And one of them is Devin fucking Hester. You know what I mean? Like you got to be great to do that. And so that ball is overthrown, and it looks overthrown again. I'm not blaming Mooney for it, but what I'm saying is you got to see how the entire play expresses itself. You know what I mean? Maybe that move, because he does that move, he breaks out, he releases, clean release, nice release, love it. The move was nice. The hesitation to stop, boom, drop your hips, shoulders come forward, take a step inside, eyes inside. Jalen Ramsey jumps it, right? But when he has to restart, is it his fault? Did they practice it? Right? Like what happened in practice when they ran that route? Did they hit it in practice? How did he run it in practice? Was Mitchell Trubisky expecting him to do that? Did they have reps together? Right? Like if he didn't have the reps together and didn't know how he was going to run that route, or if he ran that route differently in practice than he ran it in the game, then everything for a quarterback in most offenses is timing.
Yeah, it throws his timing on.
If I see you do this, I'm expecting you to go straight up the field, right? Most stop and goes don't have that step here.
It doesn't, right?
It doesn't have that step here. It's bam, bam, drop hit. I'm getting up the field, right? The guy jumps it. He gave bam, bam, stepped here. That's a split second. That throws the timing off.
And now, then the trajectory of the ball is higher.
It's long now. The quarterback has to throw a Russell Wilson type pass, and Russell does a great job of throwing a deep ball, right? He arcs it. It's a rainbow. So it gives the receiver more time to run under it, right? So there's a lot of stuff. Oh, it was Foles. Okay, it wasn't.
It don't matter. Mitch would have got it worse. Don't get me started on that.
It's Foles, and I appreciate that. Thank you for keeping me honest.
I've actually got the play. I actually just downloaded it real quick here. We'll watch the move that he makes.
Wow.
Straight filthy.
It's a filthy route though, right? Like
oh my God, man.
He's a phenomenal route runner. It's a filthy route. But if Foles has it, and again, it's Foles, it's not Trubisky. So Foles probably doesn't have the same amount of time with Darnell Mooney, who's starting, right, as Mitchell Trubisky does.
That'd have been Mitch. He'd overthrown him by another 10.
But in Mitchell's defense, Mitchell probably has more reps with Darnell Mooney at that time.
Hey, I got an idea. Can we pick up this football talk in just a second? I'm going to bring my guy in so we can give away these Sox tickets. Oh, yeah. But I also want to take this opportunity to say, we'd love for you to stay on for the rest of the podcast.
Please
do.
We'd love for you to stay on.
It's up to you guys.
I got a lot of questions that we haven't even got to yet, man.
He said it's up to us. There it is. He's staying.
He said
he's
the problem
staying.
is going to leave.
The problem is I talk too much and I dominate a conversation.
No, you
won't. Well, you're our guest.
I'll take care of that.
Hey, don't you say that, brother, because we love real in-depth conversation.
Yes,
we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, so it's settled. He's staying.
You might not be talking enough.
He's staying.
How about we just take a super quick little commercial break, and then we will bring in our guy.
Got to pay some bills.
Perfect.
There was a time when high standards prevailed. when excellent craftsmanship was displayed and treated with the utmost importance. Acquire the crisp, refreshing taste of Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
I hope you don't ever want any of that, Sheed, because you ain't ever gonna get it. Because
She already done had it. She already
of
had
course
it.
she has. I'm not a fan of hoppy beer, but I like that one. I can drink that one.
Oh, you tasting it
She
already?
had
from a
I've
lot
had
of
it
people.
before.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of people say that.
she now hung out at we hung out at a beer tasting, Moore's beer tasting. So he had it.
Yes, sir.
AB is the only one
I just
in
can't believe
my
somebody
whole
hung out with
circle
you, T.
that hasn't had it.
Soon.
What happened to
I'm just gonna
Sherry?
I don't know. She.
Look
I'm,
at you.
I'm
Y'all
gonna guess
kicked the
she
white
had to
girl
take a
off. That's
restroom
wrong. That is wrong. That is
Stop
wrong.
it, man. Stop it.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
We love Sherry, man. We would never do that. There she
AB
is.
knew. AB knew I'm drinking too much more. I was
I
like,
knew.
I gotta use the
I knew
restroom.
exactly what she meant. As soon as I went to commercial, her mic was off, picture was off. I'm like, I know where she's going. She broke the seal. Ooh, girl. She broke the seal. It's done.
So you're gonna be peeing all night. Go ahead.
Yep.
That's all right.
No, I'll be fine for the rest of the
Peeing all
podcast.
night.
So why don't we go ahead and give away these tickets?
Let's
And
do
let's
it.
bring in our guy. He's gonna do a little White Sox trivia with somebody in the chat that says they want to enter. They're gonna
It's gonna jump on Google, man.
No, because
I got a White
Yeah.
Sox trivia for y'all. Y'all don't even know.
they're only gonna have an allotted amount of time.
I have
So-
an idea. So
You-
how about we let him ask his question and then we have Sheed ask him his White Sox question. See if he knows his.
I like
And I'll ask Alexa to see how quickly she gets it.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's bring in our guy.
Bring it in. Bring him
This White
in.
Sox trivia question.
Bucks!
What's good,
Bucks.
people?
What's up, homie?
Clubhouse?
How you
Chilling,
doing?
what's good. I'm good. I must be important. I get to interrupt Sheed.
You are
Really?
important.
You are
Oh,
important.
Sheed,
both of y'all important.
Sheed, where my vodka at, my G?
You know, I'm a bad. Look, I got a bottle of Hennessy
Dude, that was
White.
the first thing I was gonna ask you.
Yo, hey, I am terrible. I'm gonna be honest with
Almost
you.
as bad
Y'all
as me
know
and
Shannon?
Terrence with Moore's.
Y'all know Shannon. Shannon Matheson.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Shanny, right? So I got a bottle of Hennessy White in my damn in my cabinet that I've been on Shannon for like 2 years.
He never collected.
He done moved away.
Moved to New York.
New York, I know.
Hey, Shannon lives everywhere.
Right. Shannon's
that.
everywhere
Shannon-
every week. Yeah.
Shannon lives the life that I dream of living. If I were a single man, I would be Shannon. Like I would live like Shannon.
Oh, that's my boy Shannon Matt.
Anyway, but I'll get you, man. Look, I got the vodka right here. I got more bottles in the cabinet
Okay.
over there.
Where you at? Where you at, Sheed?
I live in Libertyville, man. Don't
All
come to my house.
right. I got MapQuest. Is that
Hey,
still a thing?
fans, if you come to my house, I carry a pistol. I'm gonna just let y'all know. Don't knock on my door unannounced. So,
All right, now I ain't gonna do that. He come
Hey,
out with
Steve,
the
we
thing
just
thing.
coming
I guess
for the
I'm going with
barbecue.
Terrence whenever we
Hey.
come into that barbecue.
Don't come out with
I'm
the thing
from
thing.
LA. I keep my doors locked and my alarm on. I'm gonna just let y'all know. Like I love guests. I love people. But let me know.
As you should,
5,000
brother.
people.
As you should.
All you
Don't
gotta
worry,
do is
I
let
don't
me
show
know
up
when you
unannounced.
barbecuing. I'm a man to grill for you.
All
And I'm
good.
going to bring some Moors.
Bring it. All good. That's good. We're gonna do that.
Hey, and I eat, so I'll
As
be
soon,
there.
as soon as COVID,
Hey, Emilio, tell him that's a plan for success.
man. As soon as
Everybody
COVID
play their
stop,
part. They play their part.
get us off
I
of
eat. I
lockdown.
take
we good.
leftovers. All of that.
We'll be there, She. Just let us know.
I will. As soon as COVID get us out of lockdown.
Man, you ain't lying.
Oh man, you
Yeah.
just brought it down with that one. But okay, so who wants some White Sox tickets? We got any takers? We got anybody interested in doing a little White Sox trivia for some tickets? What we looking like, T-Net?
Well, I just typed a message in the chat. I said, anybody who's interested in taking a crack at the White Sox trivia, type me.
We got a
Diab.
taker. Diab.
Diab.
If anybody
So
can get a
Diab,
Diab,
what I need you to do, I'm gonna put my email in here, and
Oh, my mother, she ready.
you are going to receive a link from me, and you are going to be in the chat.
Oh yeah. Oh.
We are going to remove
Wanna put it on
ourselves, and it's
live.
just gonna be you and Emilio.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's bring it. Let's bring it.
Damn.
You will have 10 seconds
That's
to
it.
answer the question. That's it. Because
That's
if we give you more than that, you're gonna Google.
Yo, Alexa,
Type
come
that
be real
in.
quick though.
Don't
You're
remove
gonna
us.
Google. Or Alexa, answer this. So nah, you get 10 seconds.
I got
That's
that
it.
Darnell Mooney video up in about 12. So if I can do that, Diab can definitely.
So Diab, I'm gonna give
Yeah,
you
we on an honor system here. I mean,
I'm gonna give you my email address. And I want you to email.
He said, okay, ain't no need to remove. I want to see this.
Right.
Definitely, I did too. He said fair. Yeah, he said fair. Okay. I'm all about that.
So
I
we
just
gotta
wanna say
take
hi to Diab in person, man.
No, that's one of the bros. AB, he
Yeah,
is
so he's
smooth.
from our league. Yeah.
Man,
That's
he's
one of the
our
bros. He's
P1s,
smooth.
man. Definitely.
He real smooth.
Yeah. I like Diab a lot.
That's our people. Yeah.
So while we're waiting, I guess we could just ask Buck some White Sox questions just real quick for me. Is the whole team going to be injured by playoff time?
I don't say that.
So here's the thing. These injuries, these are just this is just rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
this is
kinda
the
it.
advantage of having up to a 9-game lead in your division going into September. You can rest guys. You can afford to lose 3-4 games on Cleveland. That's behind you.
Yeah.
So you could put, Gio on the IR. You can put Tim on the IR. If this was October, those guys would be out there playing. But they're afforded this. They can rest guys. So that's all you're looking at right now. I wouldn't worry about it. Buyer's remorse and Kimbrel, I wouldn't say so because
Not
we
right
didn't
now.
give up a ton for
He was
Kimbrel.
brought
We gave
in
up Nicky
in
Strike,
the seventh
who
inning
wasn't
the
going to
other
play this
night.
year anyways.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's buyer's remorse. It's not like he has really replaced anybody that we miss now. So, I'm waiting on a little bit more strategic placement with Kimbrel and Hendricks. You know what I mean? I'm not really a fan of the put one in the 8th and put one in the 9th. Like
Let them plow through.
These guys are closers. These guys are 9th inning guys.
There you go.
That's what gets them going, not 8th inning setting up the next guy for the glory. These guys are like, a closer. He's a diva. You know what I mean? He's like a wide receiver in football.
Oh,
I'm messing with you, Sheed. I'm messing with you, Sheed. He wants his touches. He wants his glory. You know what I'm
You
saying?
ain't never gonna get Heinz Ward on here with that kind of attitude.
If you look at the stats from Kimbrel when he was with the Cubs in the 9th and what he's done in the 7th, 8th inning with the White Sox, it's like it's night and day.
It's night and day.
Absolutely.
It's night and day. There's something to be said about that intensity in the 9th inning that those guys get off on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that because at the end of the day, you're going to need your starters to go a little bit further than 5 innings, 6 innings. We're going to need to dig into that 6th inning, maybe even touch that 7th.
I need Giolito to come hard.
Yeah,
So we have-
You need big Lance Lynn. You need Gio. You need Rodon.
Gio, especially here on number 1, he got to set the tone because he's going to pitch twice in the series.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be really looking at Gio as the number 1. Really, our number 1 is Lance Lynn right now.
Lance Lynn's got to be.
Someone beat Diab to it.
But come
Okay.
playoffs,
Okay.
We'll take who's first.
Who is it?
Come playoffs, Lance
I'm
Lynn
talking about playoffs.
come playoffs. Lance Lynn gets the start.
I thought
First
it was my
game, he
buddy
gets the
Keith.
start. That's a known thing. You're gonna be looking at Lance Lynn's getting the first start. Rodon number 2,
To
Gio number 3, or maybe Rodon and Gio switch
Flip-flop.
between 2 and 3.
Okay.
But you're gonna see
No,
big
I
minutes
can vibe with that because all of them are star quality. Is
absolutely.
Is Tony
Same
La
here.
Russa
Mhm.
being a little too lax though?
What do you mean? Lax as far
Because
as what?
because I've been hearing, his energy is. I mean, first of all, the man's like 76 years old.
I mean, he's 80 years old. How much energy do you want from him?
We got to get to these questions, guys. So you got somebody in the back, Terrence, right?
Did she come in? No, she's not here yet. She's not here yet. I just sent the link to her.
Hey man, Pete Carroll is 80 in his 80s too. Look at him; he jumping up on the sideline.
Yeah, but
he
don't look like he's.
No, Pete Carroll looks like he's about 65.
Like,
Tony La Russa,
Tony La Russa looks like the crypt keeper, man. Like
he damn near.
Well, Tony likes the sauce. Tony
Well,
likes the sauce.
y'all get a little bit more freedom. Baseball gets a little bit more freedom in their dugouts than we get on our sidelines.
This is also true. Absolutely.
It is, but that's why I asked Emilio, like, was La Russa being a little too lax, or is he going to show that energy come playoff time? Because let's face it, the man wins. He wins.
Are you going to get La Russa like up and down jumping in the dugout? No, but you never got that. You never got that.
I'm just talking about that fervor that we look for out of a skipper.
I mean, didn't you see when Abreu got hit, and did you see his fast run out?
Hey, look,
he's got his moments.
I was looking like, okay, he can move. He got a little Tommy Lasorda in him. He had a little Tommy Lasorda in him. I was like,
old men are angry and ornery now. Like,
right now, they move slow.
They move Terrence. Slow. I mean, my God, Terrence is like that.
Old men move slow, but they don't have to move fast for nobody.
There you go. Say that again, Bucks.
Yeah, old men move slow because they don't have to move fast for nobody. Tony La Russa don't have to move fast and jump up and down. Hit flashes, Hall of Fame ring. Yeah, I mean, the record speaks for himself. Like, look, I was a doubter in the beginning of the year. I'm not going to lie, because I thought that he would clash with the culture of the team.
Yeah.
But he's come in more like a dad with his rowdy kids, and he's letting his kids do their thing. He reins them in when necessary. And, I mean, I
think he's done a phenomenal job. For the not so much the injury adversity, but just the culture adversity. I think a 76-year-old man has done a phenomenal job. Like, real talk.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us younger guys, we grew up loving Tony La Russa.
Here's one thing that I want to, and please don't hate me, fans, for saying this. I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna be damn honest with y'all right now.
Start with.
From a coaching perspective, you guys love to have these Mike Ditkas. Y'all love the ornery, the angry, to jump up and down, to scream and whatnot.
Ozzie Guillen.
You know what I mean? But they don't.
I wouldn't say we love them. We don't pick them.
We love them.
We don't get to pick who's
winning. We like them, Sheed. When we're not winning, it's a different scenario.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you prefer that. Like this, the people that I know and the fans, in my experience here in Chicago, and one of the arguments that I always hear from people that didn't like Lovey was,
who didn't like Lovey?
There's a lot of people. There's a whole lot of Bears fans.
Well, they're stupid.
Now,
as a Lions fan, I love Lovey.
I'm sorry.
Look. Don't be a revisionist right now. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, there's a lot of people that I know in Bears land that didn't like Lovey because Lovey was too quiet. He was too lax. He didn't get riled up enough. They wanted him to be rah, 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 screaming.
Well, they didn't go to training camp because he was different at training camp. I know that.
He was different. Like, so people seem to love it, but that doesn't equate to wins. Like, you can scream, you can be a noisy gong all day long. But if
look
you're
at Mike Singletary.
Yeah. Like, you could be La Russa, quiet, humble. No, I won't say humble, but a quiet guy, but a leader. You know, knows what he's doing.
I just like results. Whoever's winning.
I like results.
I don't care if you're yelling or if you're quiet. If you're winning, I like it.
There's a lot of fandom in here in Illinois that likes the rah 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 beat your chest.
I'll say this. Though, like, I was a Joe Madden fan for years when he was still in Tampa. And I can remember saying, man, if he ever comes available, I would love him on the South Side. And I was super jealous when the Cubs grabbed him up. I was like, damn, that's the guy I wanted. He's cool, laid back.
Cool,
He's
calm,
not all about the rah-rah.
Meal type in him. Absolutely.
You know what I mean, I was always a fan of his.
Yeah, but Bucks,
Mike Gardenhire, who used to coach in Minnesota, always a Mike, and he was laid back. Like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, nothing against the guys that get all excited and whatnot, but I mean, you know, I don't have a preference in personality.
I want to address that to Steve real quick. Steve, did the rah-rah type of coach make a difference for you?
No, what mattered to me as a player, as a professional, because to be honest with you, like we're grown men at that point, right?
There
like,
you go.
You're a professional athlete, and screaming at me does not help me if you're not coaching me, right? So, so for me, when I talk to my players, and I don't say rarely, I'm lying. I yell at my players. But that being said, I'm not a noisy gong. Like I'm not gonna just yell at my receivers and say catch the damn ball. Right? Like I'm always analyzing what happened when they dropped the pass.
You're coaching every time.
Now, Steve, what do you think about Tom Coughlin?
Because it does me no good. It does me and it does my player. Fuck me. I don't care about me. It does my player no good to just hear catch the ball if I can't tell them how to do that better. It does my player no good.
It's about the message.
I don't fucking care about my feelings. I care about results for my guys. I want my guys to get the most out of their experience. I don't care if they never play after high school again.
And that's why I said the rah-rah cheerleading type coach, that's a show, man. That's a show.
Well, the message gets older after a while.
It depends, because I'm a rah-rah now.
It's people's personality.
I'm like the biggest cheerleader, and if anybody remembers,
no. Cheerleading is one thing. I'm talking about rah-rah. Like, who can I give an example?
Like Pete Carroll.
No,
he's running up and down the sidelines like a madman.
But that's rah-rah. That's coaching, though. Like,
he's coaching.
Pete.
What about Tom Coughlin? I heard about him a lot. Like, a lot of players didn't like the way
Tom Coughlin is like a military drill sergeant.
Right.
Yeah. Tom Coughlin also was a phenomenal coach.
We just got somebody finally.
All right. Well, we did.
We got to take a minute, guys.
She's not going for tickets though. That's actually.
Time out. Did somebody just bring up Trent Dilfer?
About what?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why?
Probably because of that video that came out of him yelling at his players and whatnot, putting his hand on the guy, on the player.
Oh, yeah.
It could be that. I'm not here to down talk nobody.
I don't want to touch that right now.
I'll touch it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, please. Yeah, you do it.
The truth is this. Like, I was angry at that. From a coach.
It was uncalled for, Sheed. It was.
In my opinion,
there's other ways to get your message across.
It is, and that's why I said
you have to put your hands on it. If a player is out of control and he's fighting, and you got to grab him and you got to move him, like
that's one thing.
Keep him away from himself physically, right, and from hurting the team because he's going to do something. Like the one kid, I think this happened like last year where he went out on the field and punched the ref. Like situations like that, or is it?
Yeah, that's in Texas, right?
That's a different animal.
Like those are the only times, in my opinion, where you're justified in putting your hands on a player, right? You're not justified in putting your hands on a player because you're angry because they won't fucking listen. Like if he won't listen, okay, well, you don't want to listen. Your playing time's affected. Yep. You don't want to listen. You want to keep talking shit. You want to go back and forth with me. Well, and the worst part about this whole thing for me is I think that was one of his coach's sons, right? Like, Dawson. Like
you want me to put your number up? I'll put your number up. All right.
you know
Can I take us in a time warp?
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
back that whole Bobby Knight type situation.
Yeah.
You feel me? You feel me?
Chairs out on the
I'm gonna be dead
floor.
honest. If my son, I don't know how far my son wants to play this game. This is his first year playing tackle football. I'm happy he's playing it. He's having fun. He's enjoying himself. If he gets to the high school level and he continues to want to continue to play and he's got, he wants to play the game, good, great, love it. If a coach ever puts his hands on my kid, I'm fucking going to jail.
There you go.
I'm be dead honest. Like if Trent Dilfer does that to my son, we got to scrap.
You got a headline.
We got to scrap because that right there, that's uncalled for. I'm not like my kid. You can coach my kid hard. You could be a terrible coach, and you can cuss my kid. You know what I mean and whatnot. And I'm not gonna like it. But as long as you don't put your hands on them, I'm gonna teach them. Look, you're not always gonna like the people that you play with, that you play for, that you play with. You don't have to like them, right? Your job is to go out and do your job to the best of your ability. Period.
There you go.
Regardless of what these people, you got to learn to deal with difficult people. So when you step out into this world, because football ain't real life. Like pro football ain't real life. Real life, when you step off that football field and you're no longer a player, that's real life. Like you got to deal with whatever. It doesn't last forever. So you got to learn how to deal with difficult people, have difficult conversations. You got to handle that. But if you put your hands on my son unjustifiably, you got to talk to me. Like we gotta have a conversation. You gotta see me. Put your hands on me, right? And that's just the hood in me. Like I'm a nice guy. Y'all know me. I don't want to fight nobody unless we're fighting, talking about football. But stuff like that Bobby Knight stuff,
exactly.
Like that has more to do with you as a person than it does the player.
A player. Speak on that, Rashied. Absolutely.
It has more to do with you. Like if Trent can't handle his own anger issues, you know what I mean? If he can't keep his calm, if he can't talk himself down, you know what I mean? To not put his hands on his players and whatnot. Like you don't need, I don't care what the kid said. He's a kid. He's a player.
He's a kid, and Trent Dilfer lost a lot of respect.
From me.
Not just from you, but from his team.
Yeah, because you don't got to do that. Like there's other recourse, there's other opportunities. And the problem is he also had people on his staff, if you watch the video, that are trying to
there you go.
Him,
it didn't have to go 0 to 100. It was multiple lines in between.
I understand that you might be upset that the kid is quote unquote disrespecting you and talking back and whatnot. I'm all okay with you raising your voice. You can cuss. You can yell back at him. But get off. Don't put your hands on him. Get off the field. Leave. If you don't like him that much, kick him off your team.
There you go.
There's other opportunities or areas of opportunity in that situation where you don't have to touch anybody's child. This is a child. And as a parent, I'm responsible for my kids' health and safety, right? Like I'm responsible for their mental state and how I got to deal with that for the rest of their life. You don't. You're a coach.
You don't. There you go.
He's gone. I got to deal with that. Now he's got to go and deal with that. My kid, now I got to talk to my kid. I got to talk him down. I got to teach him how to overcome dealing with people who want to do things like that. Like I got to have that conversation. Now I got to.
Kid might not even want to come back to the team.
He might not want to play. He might not ever want to play on that. And he might have taken something that he loved so much away from him because of that poor experience.
Absolutely.
And I don't ever want to provide that. I don't want to do that to anybody's child. Like, let's have a conversation.
Be in a situation you should be.
No,
it's about knowing your personnel. It's about knowing what each individual person needs. You know, some people respond better to screaming and hollering. Some people don't. Phil Jackson actually had a big comment about this, about the way that he coached Luke Longley. He said that he coached him differently than the other guys because he knew that if he went at Luke Longley a certain way, he wouldn't respond correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what good coaching is, guys. Yeah. It's just finding everyone's niche and knowing how to get the best out of your guys. And if you can't do that and you have to result in physical altercations, then you shouldn't be coaching. I'm sorry.
There's no cookie cutter approach to this. I hate cookie cutter coaches that say you got to fit into this thing here. You got to fit into this glass.
That's not realistic.
No,
that's thinking inside the box and not outside the box about how people think as individuals.
So I touched on this a little bit. I touched on this a little bit earlier. I didn't really want to get into it in my college experience, but because I started playing late, I didn't have a lot of experience, right? I didn't have to deal with I didn't have that difficult coach that I didn't know how to handle. I had never gotten to that. So from the time that I started playing to the time that I was a professional, that was only 5 years. I started playing in JUCO. I was 18 years old. I played 4 straight years, no redshirt year, nothing. I played from freshman through 2 years at JUCO, 2 years at San Jose State, and then I was playing for the San Jose SaberCats in my 5th year. That was it. So I only had the experience of the 2 teams that I played with, right?
The sample size was right.
My sample was low. So, but in my first 3 years, I had my coaches at JUCO, and then I had the coaches at San Jose State. And then my 4th year was my senior year. I had a new coaching staff. They fired my coaches from my junior year, and I had the coaches as a senior, right? And so the coaches at my JUCO, yes, we had one. His name is Daryl Holmes. I love Daryl Holmes to this day. We keep in touch over Facebook. Daryl Holmes was the assistant head coach, right? And Rob Hager was the head coach.
Okay.
Daryl pretty much did a majority of the coaching, right? From a schematic standpoint, from the offense and the defense, he coached pretty much everything. Daryl was phenomenal. He was a yeller. He was a screamer, but he was a teacher. So I knew how to handle yelling, screaming, teaching. I got to San Jose State. I had guys that weren't necessarily yellers and screamers. They respected the players, the doers. They respected, if you played, they put you on the field, period. And they were teachers. And so I learned a lot from my receiver coach there, who was a former quarterback at San Jose State. But he was a receiver coach when I got there. It was great. Well, come my senior year, I get a new head coaching staff. This new head coach comes from, his name was Fitzgerald Hill. He coached at Arkansas. He was a receivers coach. He had never been a head coach before. And then, the AD at San Jose State thought it was a great idea to hire this receiver coach or whatever, who had a doctorate. I'm sorry, I got to plug this up for my phone. My computer goes dead. So anyway, we get this guy. His name is Fitzgerald Hill, who's a former receiver coach. And, I'm a people pleaser by nature, right? Like I'm a people pleaser by nature. And that's what I just want people to be happy and have a good time and whatnot. And so at that time, I had never dealt with someone like him. And he ended up, for me, being a noisy gong. He would yell and scream, and I would do everything that I could to try and make him happy and try to do the things that he wanted. But he wanted me to catch the ball a certain way. I was taught the ball's in the air, go get it. Don't wait for it to come down. I'm 5'9". You know what I mean? 100. At that time, I was 170 pounds, 75 pounds when he got to San Jose State. So I was taught to go get the ball. Well, he coached Boo Williams and other players like that at Arkansas. Boo Williams, if you don't remember, played fucking tight end in the NFL. He's a giant, right? So he wanted me to catch the ball like Boo Williams. He wanted me to body the guy, let the ball drop over the shoulder. I had to fit into this certain mode. I couldn't do anything. To make him happy. If I jumped up to catch a pass, you know what I mean, that he thought I could catch while just staying on the ground, he was mad at that. anything that I did, right, I couldn't please him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wanted me to fit into a mold that I didn't fit. I'm 5'9". I'm 5'10". I'm closer to 5'10" than 5'9" with my cleats on. I'm 5'9 3/4. I know because
so you one of them, huh?
Yeah, I'm one of them. I need every goddamn quarter inch. Forget y'all. Anyway, I couldn't fit into that mold. I couldn't fit into what he wanted. So therefore, I went from being one of the best receivers on the team, if not the best, the leading receiver on the team. Again, the only person in my junior year in the nation, if I'm not mistaken, that averaged more yards per catch than me was Chad Johnson. Chad averaged 21 point something. I averaged 19.6.
Right behind.
I had 40 catches, 785 yards, and 6 goddamn touchdowns. Right? So I could play receiver, but for him, I couldn't play receiver. So that's how I ended up playing corner the last 3.5 games of my college career, was because I was sitting on the sideline of the Nevada game, playing against Nate Burleson, who was at Nevada. Nate hit us up for 300 yards, by the way, receiving, not all purpose, 300 yards receiving, period. No touchdowns, though, but Nate was killing us.
It's the only thing you didn't get.
The only thing he didn't get. But anyway, and he was hurt too. That's crazy. But he was a killer. But anyway, my homeboy ended up actually coming here. He hit Nevada up for 250 something and a couple touchdowns. But the reason I ended up playing corner was because in practice earlier that season, I played around, like, I'm competitive, uber competitive. So I was a gunner on special teams, and I was also, I wasn't the corner on special teams. We just used our corners to cover the gunners. And we got into a shouting match or whatnot. Like, it's competitive. The corner started talking shit to me, and I looked at him and I said, look, I bet you I can get down the field and you can't stop me from covering the punt, but I bet you can't get off my coverage, right? So I did that, and in this moment, the D coordinator, who was also the DB coach, was sitting there, and he was watching. He never said anything. He just let us talk shit and let us practice. And so I was locking their ass up and whatnot, and I was getting off everything. So come Nevada, where this is like game 6 or 7, game 7 of the season, getting toward the end of the year. I'm sitting there. I don't play it down in the first half. I do a little bit of special teams, if that, right? Like, again, I couldn't please this guy. I couldn't get on the field, and I knew I wasn't going to play offensively. So I'm sitting on the sideline, kind of dejected, watching the game. And we go at halftime, we go into the locker room. I go into the receiver room. And again, I'm just sitting there, just kind of in a daze, listening to what's going on. And the defensive coordinator, who was the DB coach, comes in the room, and he says, Coach Dub, Keith Williams was my receiver coach at the time, who's the receiver coach for the Baltimore Ravens now. His name is Coach Dub, Keith Williams. He said, Dub, give me Rashied. Points to me, and I looked around, said, me? I said, okay. I get up and walk out the room, and we go into the defensive backs room, and he draws on the whiteboard. He was like, remember what you did in practice the other day? And he draws a figure eight around myself. He draws a receiver on the board, and he draws a corner, and he draws a figure eight around us, and he says, I want you to do exactly what you did in practice the other day. You got him everywhere he goes on the field, right? And I'm like, okay. He's like, do you know anything about cover 2? I said, kind of. Cover 3. He's like, don't worry about it. If we run that, we'll tell you what to do, or we'll take you out. And we get out there at halftime, and I'm the starting fucking corner on the opposite side. Now, our starting corner, our best corner, was his nickname was AWOL, and he went AWOL that week, and so he
damn.
He kind of lived up to his name. He lived up to his name. Anyway, so we get out there. put me out there. I line up one-on-one with the guy, whoever it is. I don't even remember who I covered. All I know is no one catches a pass on me in the game. I have several tackles and whatnot, but nobody catches. Actually, I don't have any tackles. I take that back because nobody catches a pass on me in the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's like remember the Titans.
And from that,
it's a
I
lot
don't think
like
I had any tackles in that game, but the next game I was the starting corner. Actually, in that game, that same coach, in that game, I was exhausted. Mind you, playing press man is hard as fuck. Playing press man at the Division 1A level is extremely difficult. And I was exhausted, and I hadn't been playing all season, so I was out of shape, out of like game playing shape. And I looked over to the sideline like I need a breather. And that same coach looked at me and said, "No, you wanted to play, stay in there." With his country ass.
I knew where this guy's going.
I never wanted to fight a coach in my life until that point, but him. Like, and when he did that, when he said that, I said "fuck you" in my head.
Wow.
And I actually
you.
And I played. I did. I stayed in there. I took a deep breath, and I played from the rest of the game on. And press man is very damn difficult to do.
I hear you.
And especially Nate.
We gotta stop you for a minute.
Let's take a transition real quick.
We're loving what you're giving us right now.
Let's give Diab a stab at these tickets real quick. You from
he's on? Okay.
Let's give Diab a stab at these tickets real quick. So
you may take everybody
let them
out?
have at it.
You want me to take everybody out or
take us all out. Take us all out.
Oh man.
Except for me.
No, why can't we stay?
Because I said so. Take us all out. Take us all out.
I'm just bringing him in now.
Yeah, we want to see him. What up, D?
You can still see him.
Oh, hey, you need to turn off your phone or whatever.
You need to give them the screen.
Going on?
What's good, sir? How you doing?
I'm all right. And yourself?
I'm doing all right. It looks like you're doing real good there. You got some of that good Moors action going on. Glad you
actually it's actually really good.
Excellent. All right, man. Well, let's just get to it, man. We're gonna do just a few questions, 3 quick ones at you, man, just to see where you're at with it. First, let me ask: are you a White Sox fan, or a Cubs fan, or baseball fan, or?
I'm a White Sox fan. I've been a White Sox fan since the 90s. Frank Thomas made me a fan of the White Sox. I've been following them since I was, the 90s, since I was a kid. So I'm in my late 30s.
That's what's up, man. Okay, man. Well, let's just try to start it off. So obviously, you must remember when they won the World Series in 2005. So my first question is, can you tell me the White Sox playoff record for that season?
They were, what's they were? 16-1?
No, sir.
No,
they don't.
No, 8.
That wasn't me. I don't.
No, they were 8-1.
No, sir.
Go up.
Damn.
All right, bring us all in, AB. Bring us all in.
Man.
You were down a little bit, man. Come on, Diab.
That's all right. You can take another stab
one game.
You're right about that.
You got that. You got that part.
Yeah.
So, we want to move to another question, T-Net?
Yeah.
Let's
give him another shot.
Yeah, give him another shot.
Why not?
One last shot.
Okay. All right. In 2008, the White Sox played the now infamous blackout game. It was a tie-breaking game that they won to go to the playoffs. Who was the team that they beat in the blackout game? 2008. I'll give you a hint. It was a tiebreaker to win the division.
Oh,
So you know it was at least a divisional rival.
I know it.
Minnesota.
There. Yeah.
Boom. There we go.
I said it was Minnesota Twins.
Minnesota
How was that
Twins.
game? Crazy. Yeah.
Johan Santana was on that team. They had a good team.
That's one.
God, I hated that Minnesota team. Okay.
Rod and Gardenhire, I think.
So next, was this the last one? Last question. Okay. So who was the last White Sox pitcher to win the Cy Young?
Ooh. I heard this question the other day.
See, this is exactly why I took y'all out.
Why? They're not.
Rashied Davis.
I'm going to say.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
You're gonna take his ass.
Black
out
Jack
now.
McDowell.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Black
actually.
Jack
Yeah,
McDowell
you're right.
is correct.
Oh yeah.
Winner.
Chicken dinner.
Chicken dinner. All right.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, Di, we will be sending you a pair of tickets.
Cool.
Even though I think you only answered two.
You got two.
He answered 2 out of the 3. That's good.
All right.
No,
Here's an
no,
extra
the
question.
rules were to answer three.
Here's the
Whatever
next
G,
question.
we
That was the
outvoted you.
rule.
Hey,
We
hey,
outvoted
hey,
you.
get a man a ticket. Get a man
If
a
you
ticket.
get this
Hey,
one
I
right,
just said I'm gonna give him a ticket.
One of our best
if you get
guests.
this one right, you get a hot dog. You get a Comiskey dog on Connect. Last
On
question.
Terrence.
On Terrence.
On Terrence.
Bonus question for a Comiskey dog.
It's already included with the ticket.
All
Actually.
right. Oh,
It
okay.
is, yeah.
Southeast
Originally,
Moore's and Matson Liquor Store out here.
Well, you ain't gonna get that from Terrence, so
he gonna get the tickets. He gonna get the tickets. This is for the hot dog. This is all right. So
even the fans.
originally named after its predecessor, Comiskey Park. What year did Guaranteed Rate Field host its inaugural season?
Oh my goodness. This is super recent.
It's that era you were talking about. Talked about Big Hurt, Full Squads.
I have a guess,
They
but it's
changed
not.
the name. So the question is when they changed the name to
Nobody
Guaranteed
asked
Rate.
you.
No, it was when did the new park open? The current park opened in what year?
Guaranteed Rate. I want to say.
Come on, man.
2014.
No, sir. Now I think that might have been the year they changed the name to Guaranteed Rate.
See, you tricked them because you said
You said guaranteed rate, but then you said the new park.
right, but the new park
It's the
moved
same
across
park.
the street.
I said originally named after its predecessor, Comiskey Park.
But
Because when it opened, it was still Comiskey Park.
But that's what threw them off because when it moved, it was still Comiskey Park. Then it's changed to U.S. Cellular. Then it changed to Guaranteed Rate.
Okay, so now knowing all of that, what year?
No.
That makes a difference.
Okay, so knowing
Now
all
that
of
you got
that,
a history
what year?
lesson.
Oh, U.S. Cellular. Okay.
And it moved across the street.
man.
Don't forget.
Moved across the street.
Right. Oh man, that was 92.
Oh,
Is
you
that
were
your
so
final
close.
answer?
92. You hear me?
I think that was his final answer. So close, man. It was 91, but that was a good guess.
Oh,
yeah.
You still got the tickets, man. You still got the
anyway, and
job,
don't
dog.
get
Good job,
Mr.
dog.
You still got the tickets. Good job, man. You still got the tickets.
All right.
Hey,
Good
Terrence,
job.
did you get this
I
yet?
still know a little baseball, especially 90s baseball.
I didn't get that one yet. I'll get that one. All right, Diab. So I will make sure. I'm sorry. Go
Tony
ahead.
La Russa doing a good job. I think that's where the
Appreciate it.
discussion about coaching came in. Was talking about La Russa. He's laid back because he's old as dirt. He was never a super like overly energetic dude. Even back with his first stint with the White Sox. Anybody know where Tony La Russa went and managed after he left the White Sox the first time?
The Cardinals.
Oakland?
Who said Oakland?
Oakland A's, then to the
He
Cardinals.
was Oakland.
Oh, it was the Oakland. Okay.
He went to Oakland and won 2 World Series.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Bash Brothers, and yes, sir. Yes,
Canseco
sir.
McGuire.
Yeah.
Canseco and McGuire. Yes, sir.
Wow. I knew a stat from back in the day. JB didn't know. Wow, man.
How much steroids? How much steroids y'all think they were
Oh,
on?
you did? Oh,
A lot.
Yeah, I said it.
A lot.
a lot.
A
They
lot.
were in the bathroom shooting each other up, so a lot.
Somebody's got to mute those because there's an echo.
Yeah, that would be Dion.
Yeah, somebody has that.
That would be Dion because as soon as
Hey,
he got
yeah.
it, echoing.
Probably
So,
me.
We got to tell you, Dion, we all love you here. You're probably our number one fan outside of Mama. We appreciate you, man, but we got to let you go.
Gotta let
No
you go.
problem.
I'm gonna make sure I email you those tickets.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
And if
Good
you have
job.
any
All right.
questions,
Love the
Dion,
podcast.
find me on Facebook. And
Thanks,
Rashied,
man.
huge fan, man.
See you,
Pleasure
yeah.
playing against you
Pleasure,
and watching
brother.
at the same time.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you for
comment.
playing.
Appreciate the comments.
See ya.
dog.
So anyway,
Hey, with that
Hey,
being
I got a
said,
White Sox question for y'all.
hold on,
I
Bucks,
got, I
because
got a White Sox question for y'all.
he has
Go
a
ahead.
trivia question for you, Bucks.
I got a White Sox question for y'all.
okay.
Who showed up?
I went to high school with a World Series winning. I went to junior high in high school.
With John
The World
Garland.
Series winning.
Damn.
Which person?
John Garland.
Garland.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Man, he had that real quick.
He was
I
like,
must've
yeah,
told
this is
you.
easy.
I must have
Next.
told y'all that.
He told us that.
He
told us that.
So what does he win?
You told,
Sheed?
us that. You
Yeah.
told me that. You told me that,
I
Sheed,
must
in
have
all
told y'all
fairness.
that. So yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Anybody else got any White Sox trivia for me? Don't
Not
ask me
me.
nothing about no Black Sox or
Who is going to be the unsung hero of this team in the playoffs? Who is the guy who's going to step up for them?
so this is like an open-ended, opinionated question.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
What the hell? Might as well.
Man, they got so much
Are you
on
thinking
both,
TA?
pitching. But if TA stepping up, that's not an unsung hero. That's an expectation.
Okay,
You
so who do you think in general is the man who's going to step up and lead this team to where they need to go? How about that?
I'm gonna say TA
Okay.
because
I know why you're saying that because without TA, their record isn't that great without him.
I'm gonna say TA, and I'm gonna compare him to the 2016 Dexter Fowler.
Okay.
When Joe Madden says we
Fowler.
go
Got you on
as
that.
Dexter Fowler goes.
Mhm.
Now TA is a better player than Fowler, but the point is the White Sox go as TA goes, and they're gonna need to pay that man after this season. But I think TA is truly like he's the engine.
I believe
He's
that
the engine
100%.
that keeps that running. So I'm just looking forward to the postseason. We're at a point now, there's a lot of teams that are still like lobbying, trying to get in wild card spots and whatnot. As a Sox fan, and we mentioned this on Plunk last night, we're just ready to get through with the season. We don't want to risk any injuries or nothing. It's just like, come on, bring on these playoffs so we could just like
Yep.
You know, let's get down with it. You know, so
I feel that 2005 vibe, like it's kind of prevalent.
You know, like they really struggled down the stretch in 05. I mean, they almost
not blowing
the
the
division
lead.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not blowing the lead.
That lead in 05.
They almost gave up the division to Cleveland again in 05.
I feel that.
Yeah, and then they went on to just like, almost completely sweep their way through the playoffs. But I think, you're not seeing like in 05, they were like blowing it for a minute. I don't think that's what you're seeing right now.
Last day.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
like I don't think you're seeing them blow it. They're resting guys, including TA, so you're gonna drop some games, as well as
we still 21 games over 500. I'll take it.
Absolutely, we're still
I
leading
just
the
don't
division.
hope that rest doesn't translate into
Well, now I'm not looking for them to
rust in the playoffs.
I'm not. So I would expect and hope you see these guys back playing within the next 2 weeks.
That's what
now you don't bring them back you don't bring them back off the IR for game 1 against Tampa or whoever they play. They need to be back in playing at least a good week. Hell,
remember they're still
Tim could just GH for the last week.
There you go. And they're winning the division.
They're
winning the division.
I would say
there's still a power struggle on who's gonna play the playing game, all that.
Here's the thing that I will say. I'll give you a little insight from a professional standpoint.
Please.
Right? The advantage that baseball has over, say, football is that it's a multiple game elimination. Right? So that's why any given Sunday.
That's why that's the same.
Football.
Because it could just happen.
It doesn't matter in basketball and say baseball, right? Because there's a multiple game elimination. I won't say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter as much. So rust doesn't matter as much because you're a professional, right? There's a quote that I love to share with my kids, right? Is amateurs practice until they get things right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong.
Bam.
I like that.
There you go. That repetition.
It's not my quote. I don't know who wrote it, whatnot, but it's the God's honest truth, right?
That's Kobe hitting 700 shots every day. Whatever. You know what I mean? That's that.
When you see a player from a professional standpoint, when you see a player in whatever sport, whatever profession, when you see a professional do their thing and something goes wrong and you see them look at their hands, they look at their putter, they look at their whatever, and guys that are outside that realm don't fully understand. They're like, what the fuck? Don't blame it on this or don't blame it on that. No, that they're questioning like what happened.
Every single
most of the time we know. Like we know what happened. I know when I drop a pass what happened. I know why I dropped the pass. I don't need you to tell me. Right? So at the professional level, yelling and screaming at me don't fucking help me because I don't, of course, first of all, at any level, nobody wants to drop one, but I know why I missed the play. So when I'm going back to the huddle, I have already diagnosed what happened. Right? And so I'm looking like, fuck, how did that happen? I lost focus.
So that's kind of like Sevi Zavala letting those pass balls, and then he looks at his mitt.
What happened?
But no, that's what he was doing.
Like you're not blaming
and he's looking at the mitt like
you're not blaming the mitt.
Like something was wrong with the mitt.
He's not questioning the mitt.
Right. I get that.
It's like, how the fuck did I do that?
Like what happened? Like he's questioning, okay, where were my eyes? What did I see? What did I not see? Right? Like what didn't I see? Did my hand hit the ground when the grounder was coming to me? Right? Did I lift it too soon? I didn't wait long enough for it to hit the glove. Like from a professional player standpoint, when when you have a multiple game, that's why you see in basketball and you see in baseball, the best team usually wins. It's not like football where per se the best team doesn't always win. The best team is the best team that day.
I would say that baseball.
Agreed.
There's a lot of teams that go on heaters on baseball, though. I wouldn't say the best baseball team always wins the World Series.
Now, AB, I'll say the hottest team wins the World Series.
That's
like
the way
momentum counts in baseball more than any of the three big sports.
Agreed.
Like that's why when you see the Sox not just killing it, I'm like, okay, by the law of averages, it's going to upswing, and you just hope that your squad upswings in October.
At the right time.
At the right time.
Exactly, yes.
But
Cleveland, like 3 years ago, they won like 21 games straight.
Yeah.
In like August.
Terry Francona. Yep.
They blew their wad too soon.
They did. Yep.
They were too hot, too early, and they was out in the first round.
Yeah.
But see, that's a lot of that is largely coaching. Right?
I mean, Tito.
A lot of it is largely coaching and making sure or managing your players, especially in baseball and basketball, managing your players in a way that they peak when it's time for them to peak. Right? Like you don't want in my opinion, I'm not a baseball player, never played baseball in my life. As a matter of fact, if I don't practice or play every day and I go out onto a baseball or softball field, I'm going to look like I never caught a kick return, a punt return. I never seen the ball fly past me in my life. I'm going to look embarrassed. It's going to be embarrassing, right? That being said, like if you don't start hitting the right strides at the right time as a professional, right? If you're too hyped, too ready, to whatnot right now, if your guys overworked and they're not rested, it's a good balancing act to try and find. And I don't know, I've never done it.
So now that's good because that kind of lends to what you mentioned earlier, JB, about is Tony maybe being a little too lax now?
Yes,
Tony's a master at this.
He is.
Now that lends to what she's just saying, like, yeah, maybe he is just like letting them coast a little bit right now, because come October, that's when your horses got to be ready. Like the Sox were killing it; they were killing it all through July, but it's like, all right, September,
all year round, right? He's had them. He had them lathered up all year round. They're 21 games, like you said, above 50.
500, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but around 500 against 50. Other teams that
he's had them lathered up, right? He's had them ready
way
to
below
go.
500
So
against teams that are 500.
I don't think it's
probably,
that far off,
and he knows more about any coaching than I could. He probably's forgotten more about coaching than I know.
Yeah.
And he has forgotten some stuff, but
he's coached championship teams. He's a championship coach. He's
Correct.
a Hall of Famer. When he dies, nobody will ever forget his name, right?
No.
He knows historically what has worked in the past for his guys, right? So you gotta trust somebody like that to do what he does, to know what he does, to say, okay, I got them lathered up at the beginning of the year. They were lathered up. They did what they did. They maintained that throughout the middle of the season, the middle part of the season, right? They if you put it in thirds, right? Now we're going toward the home stretch, right? Like I got to let them continue to have fun, like enjoy the game. Like it's not just a job for them, and they're, because these are human beings too, right? Like they get tired, they get frustrated, they got family, they're traveling away from family. Some of them are family men. Some of them like to get out and party. I'm sure they like to have a good time, but some of them missing, like all of that. They got to manage all of these different personalities, all of these different things. And so I got to know as a manager, when do I lax off of them and let them just be? And let them be, and let them rest, and get them ready.
The maturation process.
And then when the season,
and I think that's what you're saying right now. That's what you're saying right now.
When I get to the now this postseason, it's real. This is real business. I'm not playing with you guys anymore. Like I let you guys be free. I let you guys do what you do. I love you. You know I love you. I let you do your thing, right? I'm gonna let you be you. I'm not trying to make you fit into this mold. Now, every one of us knows at that point, like we gotta, and he's probably saying quotes like Muhammad Ali's quote.
What?
Quotes like Muhammad Ali, like suffer now to live the rest of your life as a champion. So shit like that is probably getting them ready. Okay, all right, now it's time to buck up. Now it's time to get rid of all of that, the play, to forget about all of that shit. Now it's time to say, hey, suffer now, focus now, so you live the rest of your life as a champion. Nobody will take that away.
Boy, so some of you fellas got some strange sense of humor on this comment I just seen. But with that being said, thank you guys.
Hey,
I
Just my trolls being trolls. That's all.
Plug your. Why don't you plug your podcast real quick?
All right, every Sunday night, 8:05 Central Standard Time. Check me out and Kristen Petit, my co-host. We discuss Chicago baseball every Sunday, 8:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. Plunk, it's the baseball podcast where we discuss two MLB teams from one beautiful city. All right, Clubhouse, thank y'all so much for having me. Appreciate the time.
Emilio,
Great seeing you. Great seeing all of you guys.
My man Bucks.
Hey, my
All
man
right,
Bucks. Good
See
seeing
you
you.
later, man.
Peace,
Thank you.
peace,
Thank you.
peace.
Emilio.
My man Bucks. Well, we gave away one pair of Sox tickets, so we have two more pairs left to give away. But let's get on to the next part of our podcast. Sherry, take it away.
Thank you, T. So, as you guys, there's something you guys like might have misconception about me. Like, I love sports. I'm an athlete. I'm all about that. So you might be like, oh, that chick's a guy's girl. She hangs out with a bunch of dudes. No. I am the ultimate girl's girl. There is nothing I love more than strong women. I love women that kick ass in every aspect of life. I try to surround myself with them. So I am super excited to invite one of those to be joining our network. Her and I are going to be working on a project, which you guys will hear about more later. But T, if you can go ahead and let in one of the baddest bitches in Chicago, Labrinthia.
Thanks for that intro, Sherry. Thanks. What's going on, guys? How y'all feeling?
How are you?
Great.
Glad to be here. This
Glad
is
to
my
have you.
first time, so y'all, y'all just help me out. If I'm doing too much, let me know.
Fine. Just speak
Yeah.
your mind.
Where do I start, Sherry? Tell me what I got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your sports background. I know your sports background, but can you tell them a brief synopsis of what makes you so fucking awesome, especially when it comes to the world of sports?
Yeah. Okay. So not just the sports. I'm awesome. Dead ass. Just
duh.
But sports wise, so I started playing basketball at a really young age. I want to say like 7 or 8. Just on the streets, watching my older brother play, my dad. And then I started playing organized basketball in like middle school, 7th grade. That's the first team I ever played on. Then I played in high school. And then I played, also I ran track and played volleyball in high school as well. But basketball, that's where my heart was. That was my passion. So I played that at Lewis University. And then I played in Iceland overseas for a season.
Wow.
Great experience. Culture shock, but definitely a great experience. And then I played a bunch of, semi-pro rec. And then actually my best friend at the time brought me to flag football. So I've been playing flag football for about like 5 or 6 years. And basketball. Yeah.
Remember when she first started back? Yeah, she was a young thing.
I know. I remember in the last 2 years though.
Yeah, I started like 2015. And I wasn't very good back then, so y'all probably don't know. Y'all didn't know who I was. But I'm like she said, I'm a go-getter. Like I worked at it, practiced. I couldn't catch for shit. They're good at.
They're good at.
I've always been a defensive player. defense is where my heart is. Okay, I'm a stopper, but I kind of got the catching thing down now, so it's nice to be able to play both ways. But flag football is definitely taking the lead role in my heart now.
You be out there mossing people, don't you?
She doesn't just play like local Chicago. She plays on the national level, and not for teams that are from Chicago and play. She goes on these teams that are made up from people all around the country. So they put together these all-star teams, and they go and they play for real life money.
Wow.
Definitely.
Shout out to you for that. You are a killer. I love that. Shout out to you for that.
Thank you. We actually played in an AFFL tournament. I think it's for American Flag Football League, and it's mostly men's. But they did women this year, and it's for $200K. We did lose in the championship, but I say we lost to the Monstars because these women they travel as well, and they got one of the USA quarterbacks. The team is basically made up of the USA girls, but our team was pretty good as well. So, like she said, it's a bunch of women, from all around the US playing, and it was a really, really cool experience. It was on TV, and how much football is on TV, especially for women. So we got to play for some money. We didn't win the big pot, but we won something.
She won a little spending money.
Right, a little spending money. We got our travel money back.
Yeah.
Let me hold something. in.
I got you. But you
got me. Yeah, from way back, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely enjoy traveling. Just being around football. I feel like that's what's helping me to get better and like help my love girl for the sport altogether. Just being around it and doing it all the time. It's like I felt when I started playing basketball. So definitely enjoying that. And you get to travel and, meet new people. So loving that aspect of it as well.
Mm-hmm. Just like her professional days back in Iceland.
Right. Yeah. Iceland was dope. It's like I said, it was definitely a culture shock. And you know how they teach you in school how Iceland is like warm and Greenland is cold? Iceland cold too. It's just not as cold. Iceland cold too. But the difference I noticed is the weather was always changing. So it was like raining one day, and this is wintertime. It's raining during the winter, and then it's nice and sunny, and then it's cold. Not as cold as Chicago. I don't know. That bone chilling cold, that ain't like nothing I ever felt.
So basically it's Chicago.
It's not. Yeah,
it's that wind off the lake, though.
It's that wind, yeah. But then in the summertime, so it's weird. It's like summer. There's like 22 hours of sunlight. It doesn't get very hot. I think the hottest it gets is like 70 degrees, but it's sunlight like 23 hours out the day. And then in the wintertime, I think it was like sunlight in the town I was in. It was like in the mountains. It was called Isafjordur. It's like 5 hours from like Reykjavik. That's like their capital. That's like like DC is like their Reykjavik, I guess. And it was only sunlight, I would say, for like 3 hours out the day because it was behind. The sun would come down and the mountains would block it. So it'd be like sunlight from like 11 a.m. to like 3 p.m.
Wow.
I didn't get no vitamin D or nothing, but the people were great. Food was good. A lot of seafood, a lot of fish. I love seafood, so that was great.
Is the seafood real fresh over there?
Yeah, very fresh. We right off.
Well, yeah, they're in Iceland.
Yeah,
they're an island.
Well, yeah, duh, on me, I guess.
Shark head while I was there, that wasn't great. I mean, I wasn't with the shark head, but everything else was really good. So yeah.
I have a crazy question about Iceland.
Okay.
And please don't judge me. Are there black people in Iceland?
No. There was. So Iceland has a rule where they can only have one American per team, and they're usually black. Majority of it, because the talent level is so different. Like we're way advanced in America, and mostly in America. But there's other European places that only have one American per team. But when I would see black people, it was that one American on each team. So black men, black women are playing on all the Icelandic teams. And there was like a few immigrants. Like I had I coached while I was there too. I coached a 6th grade team, and one of my players was half black. Her dad was from Africa. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's be real. We are everywhere when it comes to sports. Like
everywhere.
Exactly.
Savoir faire.
Everywhere.
Yeah. But they love us out there. Like, treat you like a celebrity. I don't know if they would treat the, other people, but they definitely treated me like a celebrity. Like I didn't have any complaints. I'm like, y'all treat me better than America. Like, I might stay a while. But yeah, it was definitely a good experience, to say the least.
So B, we got to ask, what teams are you a fan of? This is important.
As far as like football, basketball, what y'all talking about? Baseball?
All professional, all of them. What are your professional
teams?
teams?
My thing, but
we need your lineup
for
football, basketball, baseball, hockey, all of them.
Okay, we're gonna start with basketball because I'm over. I'm gonna go with the Lakers, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not a bandwagon. I'm just a LeBron fan. I've been a LeBron fan.
You just lost us twice.
What was that?
I said you lost us twice.
No.
I'm actually a LeBron fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So
if you're
a LeBron fan before,
you're a Laker fan,
I went in no games to shoot. I've been a LeBron fan from jump. Okay, so LeBron, the Lakers. I'm also a KD fan too. So Brooklyn, but football, Bears fan. I'm gonna tell y'all though, I didn't start watching football until I started playing football. So football, I found this newfound love in watching it. So I never really had a team, but since I live in Chicago, I'm from Chicago. We got Justin Fields now, so I'm like, okay, I'm a Bears fan, but no, it is what it is.
I'm gonna say this with all due respect.
Go ahead.
Anybody that's commenting in the chat, because I've seen them. I'm glad and it's cool that you're a LeBron fan. But let's not go too far with LaFraud.
What? What do you mean? You mean let's not go too far.
Let's not go too far with LaFraud before others.
She just got up and left. LaFlop.
Hey, because we're not gonna have that type of disrespect on this show. We're not gonna have that.
I don't understand. John, tell me what you mean. I don't understand.
We'll talk offline.
I only got up and left.
What I said.
Turn the lights
you ever watch Michael Jordan? I mean,
I have to educate you.
Wait. Are we talking about current time or are we talking about past time? What do you mean I never watched Michael Jordan?
No, I never said you have watched Michael Jordan, because if you did, then you wouldn't be a LeBron. You wouldn't be.
Are you kidding?
No, you could be a LeBron. I'm a LeBron fan. Come on now, don't be a hater.
You love all the Cleveland sports. Like, come on, like you guys.
That Chicago thing.
We're not gonna act like LeBron James is not top 5.
He's
I'm
not.
not gonna say
he's not top 3.
All right,
he's not top 5.
Look, see here. Look,
he is definitely
somebody
top 5.
from outside of Chicago. Being somebody from outside of Chicago, I'm going to say this to you guys. Look, because somebody likes one person doesn't mean they can't like the other.
You're from LA.
See, I agree.
Okay with it. You're from LA.
Look, when you look, when I first got here and someone once said to me, look, Cubs fans, how do I say this? Cubs fans care, like they don't care if the Cubs win as long as the Sox lose. Like, what the fuck is
I'm
that?
not into that. No, see,
that's not me.
I'm a Cubs fan, but I root for the White Sox.
Chicago.
There's a whole lot of people that are that way. You guys are the exception. There are fucking rules here in Chicago.
I live in the middle of. I live right by Wrigley Field. That is so true. That is so true.
Like, you guys are the exception. I got friends that
are segregated, man.
That will. They don't give a shit if the Sox win, as long as the Cubs lose. The same thing goes when it comes to the Bears, right? Like, one of the first things that I learned was the fans really don't give a shit if you lose as long as you beat the Packers. What kind
That's
of
true.
shit is that? Like,
I mean,
look, come on.
Not me.
You can be a LeBron fan.
You can lose
You can
every
be a
game, but the
LeBron
two against the
fan
Packers.
and still understand that Michael Jordan is the best player of all time. Like, you can still.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
one
Chief.
doesn't cancel
Thank you.
the other.
Agreed,
One
Chief.
doesn't cancel the
Y'all
other.
asked about
Agreed. I'm
teams,
giving you
though.
this.
Y'all asked about teams. Y'all didn't ask about a player. I mean, LeBron's in
Okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it, but she can't
Okay
come
with the way
on
she said
a Chicago Clubhouse podcast show and start talking about LaFraud over MJ.
We just had this argument with Alex Brown.
You have a literal Lions fan on the show.
We just had Alex Brown on the other week, and
like,
Alex
ask
Brown
Jesus
is doing the
Christ,
same
because I
thing.
asked y'all several times with your finger. So, Michael Jordan doesn't play anymore.
I'm gonna move around in my basement for y'all. I'm gonna move around in my basement for y'all. I'm in my basement because I gotta show y'all this.
So no, the Bulls.
Like,
We're not going to
I'm a
mention the Bulls.
I'm a Laker fan.
Hey, KB.
Turn his camera off. Turn his camera off.
Hang on.
LaBrinthia, you said the Lakers, right? Do you see my background?
I do.
Ain't no bigger Laker fan than me since '80s, since the Magic.
No, I'm a bigger Laker fan than you. I'm born and fucking raised in Los Angeles.
Hey, see,
this man is from LA.
Like, but this is. You know,
hey, see, look at my background. I should have been with you.
Hey, Share Bear.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm
It's
a big
time.
Laker.
Yeah, I got a
fan. Like, you. That was
Right on time.
I don't know.
Right on time. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We don't give a flying fuck about any of that.
No,
None
but
of
you
it.
guys, I do have one final topic that I did want to talk about
Bullet.
because we are week 1 of the NFL season. We already talked about fantasy and me versus Sheed. But there's another type of fantasy that I do. Someone's giving us background. So there's another type of fantasy that I do, which is Survivor. Do any of you guys play NFL Survivor?
No, what is that?
NFL Survivor.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Okay, actually, I can get y'all in my buddy's league. We don't pay a lot of money for it. I play in the $10 league, not the $100 league. So every week, you pick a team that has to win. In order to move on to the next week, their team has to win. The caveat is you cannot take the same team twice.
Yep.
So
I played that, but it was called something different.
Yeah,
It was
so
a while ago.
let me tell you guys, though, a little bit about my history of Survivor, right? Okay, fantasy, I'm decent. Survivor, I'm trash.
Probably take the Lions real quick and just
No, okay, so let me tell you.
Week 1.
You know what?
I'm sorry.
I actually lost.
Except for 2010.
God damn it.
Yeah.
2018. Let me tell you what I did in 2018, okay? The Lions week 1 was a home night game against the Jets.
Told you.
I picked the Lions. They lost like 42-17.
Shocker.
So last season, I don't know if y'all remembered what around week 2, week 3, everyone in San Fran was getting injured. Like they were on their 3rd string, but they were still winning. So week 4, they were playing the Eagles at home. Eagles hadn't won a game yet. I picked San Fran, and the Eagles beat San Fran on the road 25-20, and then like lost every other game.
Yep.
So I have a new technique, guys, and I worked on this today. So what I did is because you only need to do, because you know what I do? I try to like find those teams that I'm not going to want. I want to save everyone for the end, and then I fuck up. So what I did this year is I picked the 20 teams that are possible contenders for me to use, because the most you would need to use is 18. And then I marked the different weeks that I could use each team. And so as I go through, I can be like, all right, is this going to be a good week to use this team?
So
Let's see.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let's see if this, because like I got the Chargers down here. They got a really hard schedule. I might not use them at all. Like the games I marked are like a home game against Vegas, an away game against the Eagles.
So
maybe.
Who do you think about taking on week one? Because I know the answer to week one.
Okay, so week one here is not the Bears. Week one is always the hardest one, and I'm very tempted. And I see my old way would have taken the Panthers against the Jets, but when I did this, I don't need to use the Panthers. I don't. Why would I put my money on the Panthers? So the teams that I might take for week one are either Tampa Bay, the Rams, San Fran, or Tennessee. Those are my 4 games that I have.
Number 1 and your number 2, either one.
Yeah, sounds like to me, you just need to close your eyes and.
Right, exactly. That's what I was thinking. She like.
Sound like to me.
You win any money?
Too much damn logic.
It's winner take all. There'll be like 30 or 40 people in the thing, so like you'll win like $300 or $400. I put $10 in. Okay, y'all, 10. But you gotta remember, I do like analytics for a living, so like you're lucky I didn't make a goddamn spreadsheet out of it. I just wrote it down on a piece of paper.
I was also gonna say, if you look at the spreads for each game, look at the big spreads. Like that's what
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was just me looking at myself. I try to take the home team. I try to avoid divisional rivalries. And I also use the spread as long as the injury list. Yeah. So like for example, I'm never going to take the Packers over the Bears, right? We know that the Packers are most likely going to beat the Bears twice this year, but because it's a divisional game, more things can happen.
Somebody mute her.
I would take the Packers over the Bears.
Shit. It's not my podcast.
I'm a Bears
now
fan.
I'll take the Packers. I'll take the Packers over the Lions.
I made about $400 betting the Packers over the Bears last year because I know the Bears and I know what they do against those kind of teams, and I know Mitch Trubisky was gonna.
Our best friend Mitch
was gonna come through for me. But if I were you, Rams is a good bet. Rams at home in their new stadium.
Yep. Rams is probably
shambles.
Your guys' offense. And they have my love, Stafford. You guys know, T knows how much I love Stafford.
I'm about ready to do it again.
One of the things that I think you should
do it again.
One of the things I think that you should factor in is who's traveling the farthest.
Right.
Who's got the farthest travel for the game, right? So picking the Bears to lose in Los Angeles, that's a fair pick, right? Because they got a
pick, yeah.
It's a very good
one.
Playing against a tough team, great defense, whatnot, and they have to travel the farthest. So you want to think about that factors into the play as well, because home teams,
I got another one,
for the most part, win on average more than the away team.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer the distance, the harder it is, right? Yeah. Because the travel and the time difference, the time change, and when are they getting in? Are they getting in the day before, 2 days before? If they're 2 days before, you can factor that part in too. Okay, 2 days before, they've had a chance to sort of acclimate to the environment, who they're with, where they're playing, what's the weather. Again, first game of the year, you don't know anything.
No.
Right? So
I got one. I think that's a lot. I think that the Green Bay Packers will beat the Saints. The Saints got to travel for their home game. They've been dealing with a lot of stuff there. I mean, you got a new quarterback. I think the Packers can roll over the Saints.
But here's the problem, though.
But here's the thing. Why? Like you
could one team. You can only pick that team once.
So pick the Packers against the good Saints team.
I'm going to save the Packers for for when they play like the Lions. That's a gimme.
So instead, you're going to take a Rams team who's one of the tops in the NFC, or you're going to take Tampa, who's another top in the NFC. what's the difference between them and the Packers, who are
Again,
another
look
top
how
team in
many
the
how
NFC?
many things that I gave. Some teams I just have a lot more options.
You know the Packers play down to competition a lot too, right?
There you go.
This is
I'm
only
saying,
guaranteed money.
Bears.
I think
Only guaranteed money, AB, is Thursday night. The Bucks versus the Cowboys. That's the only guaranteed money.
I might put a band on that game.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, that's
that ain't
so this is what I'm thinking about, guys.
Hey,
I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but
that ain't guaranteed.
They're having COVID problems.
Hold
That ain't
on.
guaranteed.
See, you say that's not guaranteed?
That's not guaranteed.
I mean, nothing
Explain,
is
please.
guaranteed.
Where's the game being played?
It's in Dallas.
No, it's in Tampa.
I thought it was in Dallas. It's
in Tampa because they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
They're having
Duh.
a ring ceremony.
Opening night.
So
Duh.
that gives, in my opinion, that gives Tampa a little bit more of an edge, right? On top of the fact that they have Tom Brady and their great coaching staff, and
on top of that, Dallas's line is down. Zach Martin's out.
He's
Dak back, and Dak can play, right? So you got to worry about defensively what Dallas brings to the table.
They're going to be better this year.
They
got Dan
we don't
Quinn.
know that, though. We don't know that. You think that's an assumption.
We think yeah.
You think that's an assumption. But I don't pick. I wouldn't personally. I would do my best not to take Tampa so early, not to take Green Bay so early, because you end up at the end. If we're talking about what she's talking about, and I've never played Survivor, but
me neither.
But that being said, if at the end of the year you've used Green Bay and you've used Tampa and you end up with fucking Jacksonville as your only team left, like your only teams left.
the math told me that I won't. Don't worry.
Yeah,
There's a lot of gimme games in weeks 15, 16, 17.
The thing
if you get by with this now,
yeah.
If you get by with it now, you're gonna have those gimme games later, Sheed. That's exactly what I'm saying here. Is that if you get
Week one is probably always week one is one of the
you can
hardest
take
because we
advantage.
haven't seen anything, and that's
Week
really.
that's
I'll
every
say this.
year.
In my opinion, I think you got to get week one down, and so I'm going to take a gimme win.
You get everybody's best
gimme
shot on
win
week one.
so that I can get sort of going. Because if you lose, you're out.
Steve, do you want in on this league?
Nope. Because I don't
he goes, nope.
But let me go back to what I was
You
saying.
can't auto draft.
I just gave you all my advice, so no. I'm not.
Hey, Sheed, let me go back to what I was saying and see if you follow me.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason I picked the Bucks is not just for the Tom Brady factor, but for the fact that Dak has not played in almost a year.
Yeah,
that's true.
He came
It's
off
true.
of that weird soldier, whatever the hell.
It's not even about the ankle. It's about the shoulder.
No, it's the shoulder for me because he can't.
For me,
throw the ball
AB, same thing.
downfield.
Like, this is what makes
He
you.
might as well be Mitch
ball.
Trubisky right now. He can't throw the ball downfield.
No, Mitch can throw it downfield. Mitch couldn't make the right decision.
Don't you?
Mitch will throw it down the field, but he won't throw it to the receiver. He'll just throw it
the ball more
downfield.
than 10 yards down the field.
No,
Accurately, he can throw it down the field,
here's
though.
the
It's
deal.
just
You're
not going to
talking
hit any
accuracy.
receiver.
Right. You're talking about accuracy.
You're talking accuracy.
I'm sorry, arm strength.
No, it's not.
No,
even,
he's got
it's not
plenty arm strength.
It's not accuracy.
He's got the
I'm
chuck. He just don't have the buck to go with it. That's the way I call it.
Mitchell it's more decision making than anything with Mitch Trubisky. I like Mitch Trubisky. I don't think Mitch is a bad player. I think Mitch can have tremendous success in this league, and I don't think he was terrible for us. I don't think he was worth. I think his biggest problem here in Chicago was what they did to get him, not him himself, right? Because that already created a stigma against him. Because no one said pick Mitch Trubisky at that spot.
He was unfairly anointed.
You got plus you have Deshaun Watson in that same draft. And then hindsight.
Well, that's what, everyone, the hindsight.
On top of that, hindsight says Patrick Mahomes. Everybody,
some of us know what he did.
Nobody knew. Nobody aside from the Kansas City Chiefs knew Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes. Even Even the Chiefs didn't know Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Not to that point, absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
Under Cliff Kingsbury, Patrick Mahomes was doing his thing.
Yeah, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that did their things under Kingsbury. There's a Texas Tech period before Kingsbury.
Hell, Cliff Kingsbury himself threw for 5,000 yards.
Everybody threw for fucking a shit ton of yards in that offense. Same thing with Nevada and Hawaii. You know what I mean? All they did was throw the ball.
Oh, what was his name? The quarterback. He threw like the most touchdowns ever.
So when
Colt Brennan.
The thing that I'm saying is when it comes to Mitch Trubisky, that his biggest problem was where he was drafted. It wasn't the fact that he's not a bad player. He's an NFL caliber player. They won games with him. They
won games because of that defense.
He had
how many games outside of that Tampa game and that Dallas game?
Look,
you can honestly say that it wasn't the defense,
right? And he scored. Like Mitch can run. Mitch is athletic. Mitch can throw, right? So here's the other thing too that I learned as a professional athlete that I would say Nagy probably, and I like Nagy, so I hope he don't fucking get mad at me for saying this. I played against Nagy in arena football, but I'm gonna be straight up honest.
Okay.
One of the things that I understand that I know about Nagy, and I haven't had this conversation with him, but this is just conversation with people that I know that are in the know, is, and even in Andy Reid, if I'm not mistaken, in Andy Reid's style, they read top to bottom, right? Not. I was always, and I learned this in arena football. I learned this from the same coach that I said is one of the best coaches I've ever had, Terry Malley. First downs equals touchdowns.
Correct.
Right? So get the ball down the field. Be patient. Don't be in a hurry to make the big play. What you see in the NFL, and which is why Lovie Smith's defense worked so well, Tony Dungy's and whatnot worked so well over time. It's because Terry, you're a math man. I can see that, right? You spreadsheets, math makes sense. You understand that, right? Historically, if you go through time, offensive coordinators are impatient. They don't take time. They get impatient. They say, we hit a big play. Now it's time to go for a big play.
There you go.
First down. We got them on the ropes. I'm tired of matriculating the ball down the field.
Matriculating. Who said that? The coach from Kansas City.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I don't know. I can't even spell matriculate. But anyway, you're talking about moving the ball down the field slowly, like
Tom Brady does.
Well, not just Tom Brady. The king of it was Joe Montana.
Well, I'll say West Coast offense, period.
Like Joe Montana, the West Coast offense, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, whatnot. Look, I put the ball in my playmakers' hands and I let them do their thing. Right? When we lost the Super Bowl, most people in Chicago remember that. Like that's where this jersey is from.
Never forget it.
The Super Bowl. We lost the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning threw for over 400 yards. But if you go back and watch that game, he had a bunch of fucking checkdowns.
Yes,
he had one big play down the field, and that was because of a mistake in our secondary. We had a rookie, Danielle Manning, the dig route and cover 2.
Never should.
That was the big play. And in that play, Tank Johnson was hitting Peyton Manning in the mouth.
Yep.
And so he released it and got hit in the mouth, right? So that was the only big play. But if you're a patient enough person, quarterback, patient enough offensive coordinator, then you are okay with getting first downs equals touchdowns. One of my problems that I have, and I'm not necessarily blaming Mitchell Trubisky for it, is that in this defense or in this offense with the Bears, Nagy got off the plane saying, I'm not run first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that shit. I want to throw the ball 50 fucking times a game, right? And you take a quarterback like Mitchell Trubisky, who's had only like a modicum of success in college.
He couldn't even start in his
He
own
only
college
had
game.
1 year of
13 games.
13 games of starting experience, right? And you're bringing him to the highest level, and now you're expecting him to throw the ball 50 times a game because he fits the bill. He fits the mold. The mold is you look like this fucking iPhone. You fit in this iPhone. We're gonna make you deform like this iPhone, right? And so instead of taking what you have on the defensive side of the ball, taking what you have in special teams, taking what you have in the quarterback and taking what you have in the running situation and saying, hey, I got a good running back right here. I got a good crew right here of running backs. I have a phenomenal defense. I can play keep away, right? I can keep them from scoring. Plus, I'm gonna take you on a long ass drive down the field, and
keep my defense off the field.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep my defense off the field, right? So when you look at Peyton Manning and in Denver, when he lost the Super Bowl to Seattle.
Von Miller and them boys.
Right? And they lost the Super Bowl to Seattle. They didn't lose it on the defensive side of the ball. They
did not
on the offensive side of the ball, right? Because what they did with Peyton Manning was force him to matriculate the ball down the field, right? So what they did was play keep away. Our defense is really good. Plus, our offense is good enough for us to move down the field and at least get field goals. We're gonna score every time we get the ball.
Hey, so I wanna wrap this up real quick. We can all give quick shout outs real quick. Let's get out of here because we've been in here for like almost 3 hours. Yeah. And I need another beer.
Same.
It's a good part.
Yeah, great.
So, Labrinthia,
I didn't even get to ask all the questions I wanted to ask you.
I know.
We're gonna have to
do a part 2.
That just means we gonna have to have them back.
I talk too damn much. Y'all should have kicked me off.
No,
no, man. That just means we gotta have you back.
And
maybe
hey,
we got a long
come back.
and perhaps when we do it on location at Under Armour, it's on Michigan and Ohio. When we do that, hopefully you come back. And I'm getting terrible feedback from somewhere.
You are.
That's you, T.
That's you.
I think it's you, bud.
Maybe it's
you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we're gonna get to our shout outs and get out of here. Labrinthia, why don't you start us off?
I'm gonna shout y'all out. I'm gonna shout y'all out for having me and including me on this. I'm gonna shout Sherry out for reaching out to me. Like she said, badass bitches, we gotta stick together, right? And
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. So shout out to y'all for having me and including me in on this.
Well, thank you for being here. First and foremost.
Sherry?
First shout out to B. Literally, she was the only person I asked. I was like, if she doesn't say yes, I don't know who I'm going to ask next. Definition of a badass sports chick. Shout out to JB's mom for always watching. My friends, James, Cam, Shani, I saw you on there, Diab, all the usual crew, and Rashied, I will see you on the fantasy circuit this weekend.
Auto drafting.
Not this week, not this year, not this year.
My man, Rashied.
What about you?
For me, my shout out to Saturday Place, the charitable organization started a long time ago, 2010. We're going on year 12. Golly. Saturday Place.
12.
Yeah, year 12. So I started it with my own cash, about 40 grand in my own cash. And then, we got donations and fundraising and all that stuff ever since. But shout out to Saturday Place. It's an enrichment program for 3rd and 4th grade Chicago public school students who are performing a year below grade level. Our aim is to get them at or above grade level by the time they leave our program. And we've helped over 500 kids so far in the 12 years to get them at, or hopefully help them get to at or where they need to be, right? So my goal, really, to be honest with you, is our mission statement: to teach kids how to overcome obstacles to success through inspiration, preparation, and discipline. Shout out to our board members. Uh, Shout out to Lynn Lease and Related Midwest and S Mechanical and Snydero, Chicago, and 210 Design House. All of these companies who have been with us from day one. And so I gotta shout them out. I'd be remiss. Our teachers are Maribel Herrera. I've been drinking, so I can't roll my R's. Typically, I can roll my R's pretty good, but I'm good. So anyway,
damn, man.
Shout out to Maribel and the whole teaching staff who's been helping us for a long time now. And in Chicago, if you want to learn more about Saturday Place, go to SaturdayPlace.org. We're a 501c3. Everything you donate to us is tax deductible. I've never taken a dime, never planned on taking a dime, will never take a dime from the organization. It's completely board run. And so all of the money that is donated to Saturday Place is used to run the program. Shout out to Hire 360, which I'm on the board of. Hire 360 is an organization that's dedicated to eliminating the barriers to entry into the construction realm, right, in Chicago. Hire 360 Chicago. Check out hire360chicago.com to learn more about what Hire 360 and what we're trying to do there. Shout out to me for always bringing knowledge and love. I appreciate that.
I thought you were shouting yourself.
No, I'm not shouting out to myself. I have one of the things, if you haven't noticed, I'm like ADD, like a mofo. Like, so if a squirrel runs by, I'm gonna look at the squirrel.
Right, you on it.
What about EXP Realty?
EXP Realty, shout out to the program. My partner and I started with EXP Realty, and what we're doing there is working on inviting professional athletes into the real estate realm and helping them start their second careers beyond football, right? So one of the hardest things when leaving anything that you've been professional at, now you're dropped down a level for the most part. Like, I went from being on television and playing professional football to a damn soccer mom. Like, I became a soccer mom. So the people that I went to the bus stop with were stay-at-home moms. I was a stay-at-home dad. My wife works at Allstate. You know what I mean? So it was like I went from that to all of a sudden now I'm doing these things and nobody cares what I have to say. So or what I'm doing.
We care.
Except for my children.
We care, bro.
We care a lot.
Thing that we're doing with the program with EXP is trying to get guys to understand, look, you have as a professional athlete, you're in a locker room full of high net worth individuals that are transient by nature. So what you should take advantage of, if you're smart, is the fact that you can help your teammates buy and sell homes, find apartment rentals and whatnot. And we're there to help you with that along the process. Plus, when you retire from professional sports, now you have a book of business and you're walking into a job as opposed to trying to find whatever that damn next thing is, which is one of the hardest things to do as an adult, right? Like as you're grown, you're used to making all of this money, and now all of a sudden you got to go learn this new skill.
There you go.
You can't learn that new skill, but now it's just different for you, right? Like you have all that. You went from making 20 grand a week, you know what I mean, in your professional life to now you got to go, you're at the bottom of the totem pole in this new position that you're at. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but you're in a totally new grind. You're going from being a you get that grind as a professional athlete. Well, no, as an amateur athlete, all the way up, right? Through junior high, college, high school, then college, and now you're a professional. Now you're back down to that same level, right? And now you're trying to build yourself up again from scratch. So what we're trying to do is get guys to understand, no, start that thing. And I would say the same thing for all of you. Whatever it is that you want to do before you retire from that job that you do, start trying to do that. Get started with that thing before you retire from that thing that you're doing that makes your money right now. Start doing it, even if it's just a hobby, right? And you get to go and do it. So now that when you leave it, you're already in it. When you leave it, you're already in it, right? And you're not looking for, when someone asks you, what are you going to do when you retire? You're like, oh shit, like me. I started Saturday Place a long time ago while I was playing, but I never planned on how I was going to feed my family beyond that. I never planned on that. I planned Saturday Place, which is my philanthropic side. I get to fulfill that with that. But I couldn't feed my family off Saturday Place because I never planned to. That was never something that I planned to do. So now I got to figure out, well, what is that thing that I'm going to do to feed my family?
Right.
All of these other things, like my neck hurts. I've had neck surgery post-retirement. I've had hip surgery post-retirement. You guys probably don't see it because you see me play flag football, but I'm in pain as we sit here. I'm in pain every day. Right? Back, neck, everything hurts. I just suffer through the pain because it's therapeutic mentally for me.
And
this is the longest shout out I've ever heard in my life.
I told you that, bro. You gotta tell me to shut up.
We gotta give him a little buzzer, like.
I've been telling you that. You need what you need. To be honest with you, is one of them Dave Chappelle joints was like, wrap it up. Right. When you bring me on.
Trying to just get information though. You know,
somebody get a video cut that.
You be saying some good stuff.
I know you do. You went every direction on that one.
I am ADD. That was
a tangent.
I am like a squirt. Like, look, I'm ADD. Wrap it up, B. Put the like, say, wrap it up.
Hey, JB, it's on you, Playboy.
It's on me? Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody on the board. Shout out to Rashied. We got to talk offline because a lot of the things that you're projecting, I would love if you could come to my school and have a seminar and talk to these kids. We'll talk about that offline if you can. I would love that. One thing that I would like to say off kilt, I got to say shout out to the family and respect for Michael K. Williams. If y'all know who Michael K. Williams is, to me, he's Montrose. To y'all, he's Omar from The Wire. And I just wanted to take this time to take a moment of silence and respect the person who brought a lot of joy to our lives for a lot of years through his activism and through his portrayal on his shows. Shout out to Michael K. Williams, who we lost a couple days ago. Respect. Shout out to Mom. Shout out to SB. That's all I got.
I gotta follow that.
You gotta follow that.
It was all somber and shit.
Man, like, first and foremost, I agree about Michael K, man. Like, he was a real one. He was. I literally, unfortunately, have seen him in a lot of other movies and shows. I never watched The Wire, and I'm literally gonna watch it now. Just
AB, you're not alone.
I've never seen The Wire either.
All I've heard is how good it is.
All of y'all have missed out tremendously. He is the dopest character I have ever seen in any like movie.
Like, I've seen him in other things where I was like, damn.
No.
I've just personally never seen The Wire.
You got to see him in The Wire. You got to see.
He was also on Brooklyn's Finest.
He was, yes.
I've watched that.
He's in a lot of stuff. But
like I said, most recently, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, that was the last thing I saw him. He was really good.
On this point, before we get off here, I gotta say this. I don't know what the truth is behind his passing. The rumors are that it's related to drugs and whatnot. Look,
be respectful.
Having grown up in South Central Los Angeles around a lot of drugs and gangs and violence and all of this other bullshit, right? Know what the fuck you're doing. Like, don't. We all suffer from the consequences of our actions.
Yes.
I grew up witnessing people, relatives who were phenomenal musicians, had phenomenal jobs. I'm talking extremely intelligent people go from that to literal walking zombies because of escapism. Right? We talk a lot about suicide prevention and all of this other stuff, but we got to be honest also about trying to escape the ills of wherever we're living and whatnot, using drugs to do so, or drugs to enhance this, quote unquote, enhance that thing, enhance our thought process, enhance our experience in this world or whatever. But if we're being straight up honest, like we've lost two in the last week. Two people in the last week that I know of. One of them was a comedian in Los Angeles who died from the same thing. Fentanyl, fentanyl, whatever they at a party, sniffing coke, whatnot, laced with fentanyl, whatever you want to say. Drugs are rarely the answer. You know what I mean? Weed is one thing, but we need to be cognizant of what's like. We're celebrating him and his accomplishments, but we also have to be real about what is the reason that he's not here anymore.
Correct.
So you can't. All of these kids and whatnot, and that are seeing these people that are dying, and I'm not here to throw salt on his name because I am heartbroken. I'm a fucking Michael K. Williams fan. I love everything that he did, and I was heartbroken to see him die. You know, it brings a tear to my eye, but to see him die from something that's 100% preventable, you can avoid. Right? We suffer from the consequences. We live or die by the consequences of our actions in this world. So you got to make sure, and all the kids that may be watching this or people dealing with difficult things, look, drugs aren't the answer to solving whatever we're dealing with. You know, so be careful about what you're ingesting, especially when it comes to stuff that could be laced with something that could kill you. You don't know what you're buying on the street.
No, you're right.
What you're buying on the streets, right? So be careful. Anyway, I'm done with that. I'm off.
End of my shout out. That right there. Thank you for that. I couldn't have said it much better, Sheed, honestly. Obviously, Bullets. We got Diab in there for winning those White Sox tickets. What happened to our moms winning some White Sox tickets? Terrence, I was wondering about
I'm giving her White Sox tickets.
Okay.
So which son is she gonna take though?
Not my white ass, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you right now, it ain't me. But anyway, so another buddy of mine in here, Keith. Thank you guys. Amazing. Sheed, you were just as advertised. I'm happy I got to talk to you. Definitely want to have you back. And my Clubhouse family, as usual, you guys. Thank you for letting me be here with you every week and run on this great journey that we're on, man. I couldn't ask for a better crew, honestly.
Before I get out of here, I'm mulling over myself.
Damn, I can't do no shout out.
Yeah, you don't get your shout out. It's not your show anymore. It's my show. And when you bring me onto the show, This is what you get. I told you that a long time ago. But anyway, I'm going to say this. Look, I've been T-Nick and I actually talked about this recently. I've been mulling over starting this show, a podcast myself, and the idea is to call it I Got a Lot to Say.
She got a lot to say.
You don't even need any guest sheet. It just can be you.
Just do it by your damn self.
So anyway, T-Nick, you got your shout outs now. If anybody thinks that that's something that they want to hear or whatnot, you know, let the crew here with Chicago Clubhouse know or whatnot, and we'll see if we can put something together.
I'll tell you right now, I got about 8,300 on my Bears page that will say yes, yes, and yes to you every day.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
telling you.
Right. Yeah. Whatever you want to talk about, Sheed.
Yes.
I'm telling you, bro.
Whatever you want to say.
And Lord knows your mind will go in many directions.
We just got to keep you on one track at a time and have that conversation. And then after we get halfway through that conversation, then we might let you spill out. Because we know how you roll now, man. We got to keep you one track, man.
You're gonna have to keep me from drinking this Chula Legacy.
Lord,
I'm gonna be drinking it with you, man.
Speaking of which, I'm still waiting on my bottle.
I know.
I'm still waiting on my more.
Right. Now you see how it feels.
We weren't talking about Moors. We weren't talking about that.
Anybody else, man.
I'm a jovial drunk, and when I drink more, the more I drink, the more I talk. So,
oh Lord,
same, buddy. All right, Terrence.
Man, mine real quick, and then I'm going to say what is happening on Saturday. So I'm shouting out the chat, everybody in the chat. I'm not even going to say individual names, but I will say thank you, Emilio Bucks, for the White Sox trivia.
Absolutely.
Diab, congrats on the tickets. I'll make sure I send you those. Everybody else that was in the chat, whether you said anything or you were lurking, we appreciate y'all for watching. My all-star team, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. This podcast don't move without all of you. She, shout out to you, man. Always a good time. Always a good time, man. Even though you might talk about this, it's still a good time, man. You're a great dude. Great dude, man. There's so many layers to you. So many layers, and we just appreciate it, man. So hopefully when we do it on location at the Under Armour, you will be the first one. Saturday we have a podcast from I'm gonna be in LA.
We do.
You didn't get invited, AB.
On the beach. But Marcus Robinson will be our guest. Marcus Robinson. He played back in 1997 to 2003.
All you know is he played with Cade McNown.
He was one of my come up guys.
That's my guy. He's a great dude, man.
I didn't want to hear, but
he's a great dude.
Yeah, great. Tell him, Chief, but he played with Cade McNown.
Marcus was a monster. Look, if you ever want to see like the variations in what an NFL professional wide receiver looks like, put us two standing side by side. Because he's a goddamn giant.
Right, he's like 6'3", right?
Well, it's a giant to Sheed.
I'm a little dude.
That's the end of my shouts. Thank everybody for watching. Shit, for everybody that's on the podcast right now, I'm not even going to go through individual names. AB, we out.
I got a closer for you, too.
This is Sherry, and you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything about sports, but they really don't know